Yeah. What's up, y'all? Good morning. Shout out to everybody coming into the chat. We back with the Sorry It's True podcast. It's your boy ARP. I know we've been away for a couple days. Took a quick little vacation. If y'all hang around to the end of the stream, I will give you my review on my experience, the resort, the island itself, Cayman Islands. It was beautiful. But there's some details I could throw in there for my globe trotters and for my travelers. I will give y'all a recap and some reviews of some of the stuff that I got into out there. But I was paying attention. I was watching everything moving. I was still keeping my eyes on the industry, the Diddy trial, the news updates, battle rap, everything, everything. I was following everything. Um, you thought I wasn't going to get a chance to chime in my opinion of Diddy and 50 Cent's BM. Y'all thought I wasn't going to get my opportunity to put my little 2 cents into the bucket. Why am I laughing? We'll get there. So yeah, we're going to go over that. I want to talk about the impact of 50 Cent's BM's testimony as well. I want to talk about whether I think that's a good thing or a bad thing as it relates to Diddy's possible conviction at the end of this trial. Some people got him skating free at this point. Some people say, they're building a lot of sex trafficking at this point. We'll see. And I want to play a little video feedback coming straight out of the court in relation to the trial as well, just so we could catch up to speed, because that's the biggest thing since I went away. What was it, Thursday? That was the biggest thing, right? That and the girl that allegedly got dangled off the roof, even though they debunked the shit out of her, right? The ex-assistant, they caught her up in all different types of lies and then put Diddy proof out that Diddy was somewhere else when she allegedly got hung off of the balcony and all this. That was big, but 50 Cent's BM, we'll get to it. Of course, I'm going to get to the Carter 6 album review. I listened to the whole album. Sitting in my room at times, get myself together. I always travel with a little Bluetooth speaker, you know what I'm saying? So I can keep my music rocking, playing it off of my phone. I listened to the entire album twice. I've been through it 2 times. I want to talk about Lil Wayne's legacy when we get to that. I want to talk about his prior albums. I want to talk about his album release sales. I want to talk about this album. I want to talk about, is he the GOAT? Or is he one of our GOATs? I want to talk about that with Lil Wayne. Yeah, we're going to keep that interesting. Even early on in this chat, shout out to the chat. I see stuff like this already coming up just from the title. I didn't even get here yet, and I see people saying, the Carter 6 is a good album. They hating and following the bandwagon. Shout out to the chat. I promise you, I'm going to give you my full opinion on the album now that I listened to it twice. And we're going to bundle up all that other information around it, and we're going to do some Lil Wayne talk, okay? We're going to do some Lil Wayne talk. What else do I got for y'all? Y'all see the thumbnail? We got Miss Brittany Renner in there. A couple of y'all DM'd me and said, ARP, you nailed it, when we were talking previously about her and Kevin Gates. I got a clip to play for Brittany when we get to that topic. And then I'm gonna get into a discussion. I'm gonna say some things. This is gonna be for the fellas and the ladies. Some harsh realities, some truths that we all need to hear, some things that we all need to learn if for whatever reason you don't know them, right? We're going to talk about Brittany Renner, and then I'm going to expand that topic into why she's in the position that she's in, how this happens. I want to talk about the dynamic of a man. Some people think we men are visual creatures. Some women think that we're very simple. I want to get into all of that. It's going to be fun. What else do I have after Brittany Renner and tying that into a topic? I got some goats to go over. When I say goats, some stuff to talk about briefly with Eminem, some stuff to talk about briefly with Jay-Z. I saw the news with Pusha T. We'll touch that real quick. And then I got some other stuff that I need to just bring up with y'all real quick. Just stuff that I would have had on the streams while I was away, of course. I'm going to do a small, very, very, very small politics topic at the very, very end. I don't do politics and religion normally, people. I'm going to do a small one just to get the temperature of the podcast and the temperature of the channel. Just to see, I want to really just see the comments in the chat when we get to that. I just want to see what people are saying. We got a little bit of sports to do too. All right, y'all watching the finals right now? I'm pulling for Shea to catch his chip. Such a dominant year with an all-star appearance, scoring leader appearance, Western Conference Finals MVP, league MVP, And then if he gets the finals championship and then the finals MVP, um, it's huge. It's massive for Shea if he does that, along with the rest of the OKC team. Man, they've earned it this year. This is just one of those years. You don't want it to look something like the Golden State Warriors where they put up that record season and then they didn't win the chip. And I'm not trying to say that these guys got what 72, 74, whatever wins on the season, but they dominated the season. So I want to see how that turns out. But yeah, I got a little bit of sports talk, and it's not even OKC. I just happened to mention that because I know a lot of us are watching the finals right now. Okay. All right. Shout out to the chat. Let me check on y'all real quick. Let me see who's in here real quick, and then we're gonna start real quick. I got any mods in here? All right, because by the time I get to Lil Wayne, some of y'all might get mad at me. Some of the ladies in here might get pissed off at me. Some of the fellas might get pissed off with me when I get to the Brittany Renner topic. So I need my mods. Shout out to the chat. What's good? I see y'all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I got members in the building. Boogie Down Jay, what's good, homie? Okay, I got members and mods in the building. D Bizzle. Okay, I see Facts is in here. Shout out to Facts. What's good, G? All right, you tried it 215. One of our mods is in the building. I see Jay, our precious mod and member in the building as well. You tried it, is telling y'all what to do. Hit that like button on the way in. Make sure you do that for the kid. Please do that for the chat. Do that for all of us. Do that for checks and balances. Do that for the whole podcast. Says you late. Yes. I know Monday through Friday we're typically a little bit earlier. I'm just getting settled from getting back in the country. So bear with me. Like I said, at the end of the stream, I'll give y'all a recap if y'all want it about my little trip. Shout out to Trey. Trey Moore's in the building, another one of our members. Okay, who else? I got Mike, one of our members in the building. Okay, I got members and mods. I'm ready to work. Y'all ready? All right, let's get to it then. Let's get to it. Diddy. I don't got to dance around it. It already came out. You know, who is Jane Doe up on the stand right now testifying? It's funny because even the sketch of 50's BM, they got the long hair laying over like one side of her. Most of her modeling pictures are like that, right? That's like one of her go-to looks. I thought that they would be in there at least sketching shit that's like completely different than the person. Like if they got blonde hair, draw the sketch with black hair. If they got long hair, draw the sketch with short hair. They just taking the face out, but the internet was going crazy. The internet was running all over the place, you know, trying to figure out who Jane Doe was. And it's funny too, because you go back last year when 50 Cent was trolling his BM. That was an indicator on the low. Now, of course, we didn't know that all the Cassie and the Diddy and then he was going to get indicted. We didn't know that. But, you know, back then we already had the pictures of Diddy and Shorty walking hand in hand, right? So we was just like, all right, 50, he took your girl down. He took the mother of your child down. You know what I'm saying? All right, it is what it is. In the industry, they all swinging around each other, right? Did I say swinging? Should I put pun intended on that? I don't know. A little quick win for Diddy, right? I thought at the time what 50 was really doing when he was trolling all of that, I thought he was really going after custody. You know, the thing with custody battles, unfortunately, sorry it's true statement, it's not always because of the love of the child, okay? The person that has primary custody and all that type of stuff, they have to pay less, right? There's so many fights that it's tied to money. Like, and granted, these courts be killing niggas. And sometimes women, you know, I even see people say like, yo, wouldn't it be a plot twist if Cassie's current baby father lets her get that 20 million from Diddy, that 10 million from the hotel, and then he divorces her and walks away with half her shit? Like, yo, you see what I just sat through in the fucking in the hotel? I mean, in the courtrooms, listening to all this hotel shit and all this nasty shit. You and what? I'm out of here. Like, it takes half the money, but it's real, you know. And you see some of these reports of these celebrities. Look at Cardi B and Offset, what they're arguing about right now. You know, it's $400,000 a year for the nanny. I don't know what kind of nanny. Is this amount for the school, and is this amount for that, and is it? It's a lot of fucking money. And I thought that was one of 50's targets, right? Fast forward, we now find out from testimony, and I guess I'll say allegedly because from the courts they haven't said her actual fucking name, so I'll still say allegedly. Out of you know, let's be politically correct on that one. But if your BM is up there testifying that the details of her testimony as far as the freak offs Some could say they're worse than Cassie's. Some could say that. Now, in Cassie's, all right, we got the urinary tract infections and forced to do it on your period and all that, allegedly. We hear the same thing for 50 cents BM. All right, you didn't want to do it and you still did it, but to make him happy. So how much are you really into Diddy? Oh, I mean, we hear the same thing for 50's BM that we heard from Cassidy. We didn't hear the getting pissed in your mouth and all that, but not every detail is going to come out on that stand. If 90% of the shit is coming out on that stand, then we're hearing the voice messages of Diddy hitting up like, yo, look, I ain't gonna keep doing all this shit with you, Playboy. You gotta assume it, and it's not even just them two. This is Diddy's thing. Okay. This is his personal thing. He grab a chick, turn her out. There's more Cassies out there that's not going to come into this trial. It is what it is. That's his thing. This is what money does. Should I save that topic about what money does? Let me hold on to that after we play the video. But let me just close out a little bit more of just my reaction when I was like, damn, 50. So you see 50 trolling immediately. He posts the joint on his gram. Does anybody know who Jane Doe 3 or whatever? And then he posts another picture of her. And he posts a picture of him holding his son, and it looks like he's looking to the side. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent is a master of pulling the Eminem 8 Mile reaction. What do I mean by that? You claim it. You say, it's mine. And when that comes from a very confident place, like when Eminem did it in the movie 8 File, we read that, we see that, we interpret it, and we say, all right, we can't weaponize it anymore. And then you don't walk around with people badgering you with it anymore because you claim it. You take it off the table. You take the bullet out the chamber, right? Do I really believe that, though, for 50? I don't. I think that he's good with that public perception of not giving a fuck and trolling and whatnot. I think that shit punches him in the stomach every time he sees it, hears it, or definitely last year when the pictures first came out. Because number one, it's the mother of your child. Okay. Now, me, I'm not the most confident man in the world, but I damn sure ain't no insecure ass nigga. I'll tell you right now, if I'm 50 Cent and this is the mother of my child, I feel a way. And this is without it being involving my arch nemesis. Just the fact that if it's my BM and she takes the fucking stand, allegedly, and she starts testifying towards him paying $10,000 a month for her bills, and I didn't want to do it, and he brought this guy in, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And then by the time we got to the third guy, I was in pain. I hurt. I didn't want to do it no more. And then he gave me a break, and we did it for another 24 hours. And we was high, and we was this, and I loved him, and I was mad, and we was breaking up. He took this other girl to Turks. I was wishing it was me. Without it being my arch nemesis, I'm looking at that trial. I'm saying, this is the mother of your yo. I have a kid with her. Oh my. First of all, me and her never did none of that shit that she's talking about on the stand. I'm sorry. I just don't see that at all. I don't give a fuck how freaky she is. She'd do 10% of none of that shit. So you feel a way. You definitely fucking feel the way. And then now you factor in arch nemesis, Diddy. We hate each other. There's testimony that came out in this trial. Somebody, one of his sisters or something, says some shit like, I don't want to do the trolling thing with 50. I want to do the gun thing with 50. I don't know how much of a threat they really are to each other, but they got issues. Dude is really up there on his gram trying to indict Diddy every day, breaking street code and shit. I'm talking about put him in jail, all this type of shit, right? This is your fucking arch nemesis. And even if Diddy gets convicted, 50, you got to take that to the grave. That's pain. Even Ja Rule is tweeting about it. Like Ja Rule chimed in on the action, right? You seen him laughing on Twitter? And Ja Rule has been already tagged in after 50 Cent trolled Irv Gotti's passing. So Ja Rule really has a clear lane to do whatever the fuck he wants in the direction of 50 Cent. Let's keep it fair. Let's keep it real. Sorry, it's true. You trolled my people's death. You lucky all I'm doing right now is laughing. Ja Rule should be trying to put together a fucking documentary based on this shit. I'm just keeping it. I don't fuck with Ja Rule nearly as much as I fuck with 50, but we are fair, we are honest, and we are accurate up here as far as what we see. Okay? 50, you deserve it. You deserve it. But that's why he tried to take it off the table. I'm claiming this, y'all. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. It's just me and my son. Yeah, okay. All right. Let's get off of the reaction to Diddy freaking off the mother of your son, homie. Let's get into trial now. The impact of this on the trial, negative, positive. Let's play some of this coming directly out of the court. Once again, shout out to Law and Crime Network. They got Shorty in there every day following a trial. So this is one of many sources that we've been using to keep up with what's happening day to day since there's no cameras in there.
In terms of sex trafficking and in terms of the idea of a lack of consent, there were certain parts where it seemed to me that, she was expressing her dissatisfaction with certain sex workers, or maybe she was on her period, and she basically expressed this to Combs. He didn't necessarily force her to continue having sex in those episodes, right? I mean, if we're talking about a lack of consent and forcing her to do it, weren't there moments that seemed not great for the prosecution?
So we heard about a number of exhibits where these escorts photographs were shown to the jury and obviously shown to the witness, that being Jane. And so there was one exhibit where it was Dawn the escort, and that she and Diddy had used them up until August of 2024, and that's notably a month before his arrest. There was Paul the escort, and she had been using him from 2021 up until the last time, and that being July of 2024. That he was a personal trainer, he trained Diddy, but he also worked for Cowboys for Angels. We saw him in places like Los Angeles and Miami and Turks and Caicos.
Personal trainer. I gotta I can't believe I'm about to say this shit. I got a very, very close friend of mine, one of my brothers. As one of the things he did as one of his hustles, he was a personal trainer, right? And I had this woman that I was dating. No bullshit. No bullshit. No exaggeration. Her friend, this is outside of me. I'm not saying this. Her friends, people that she would encounter. I've been with. We walked the streets in the past. People say she looked like Beyonce to a degree, right? When she gets glammed up, she does her makeup. She did the blonde hair. She has the complexion. She's way thicker, way thicker. But she does favor Beyonce a little bit. And my man, I almost said his name. Shit, one of my closest people. When me and Shorty stopped dating, you know what I'm saying? My homie immediately started giving her training passes, like trying to train her. Right. And then one time me and Shorty was talking, even after the fact, we was always cool. She told me, she's like, your boy, blah, blah, blah. Now I don't do the breaking of the bro code or nothing like that. I'm like, word, nah, I don't know. I go forward here. I was like, Shorty, she know what you up to. And I asked, I said, yo, did you know what I'm saying, try to pull the old school trainers trick? And he kept it so 1,000. He was like, I don't remember, but I probably did. I'm gonna timestamp this and I'm gonna send this to you today, my nigga. You gonna laugh. But the trainer thing. What's with these fucking trainers? That's why that thought came to my mind. Cassie was with the trainer, and here goes one of the people that they brought into the freak off the fucking trainer. It's like one of those little undergroundish type of things. Like we see those skits all the time. The trainer that gets close to the woman because it's a physical nature, almost sexied up at times because of what we wear to the gym type of engagement, right? No different than the guys that or the women, they get into the professions of being a masseuse, and certain situations is like anytime I see them guys or women online and they got their businesses, they go person to person, they on the road with it, and they do private massages. I was like, you took a bunch of your clients down, cut it out. It's just one of those things. So fellas and ladies, if your girl, you know how some of y'all be questioning, like, can a man have a female friend, right? A lot of women be like, yo, my man can't have no fucking female friends. I ain't going. Ain't no way little Jessica is calling him at night. Say, hey, did you watch the game? And he's walking around, and you did too. Like a lot of women ain't going for that. And I'll tell you one thing, definitely the average guy ain't going for it neither, because we know men. We just know men. We just know that men are opportunistic. And even if they don't have that goal, they will easily trip and fall into this shit once the door is open or the argument or whatever, right? We know this about each other already. So the trainer, the male trainer is something, and the female trainer is something that if it was my wife, my woman, my fiance, my girlfriend, I'm good on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool on my wife going to this personal trainer and him stretching her out. You know what I'm saying? 4 times a week. It's just you're building a bond that includes physicality. And I just know what could possibly happen if I was the trainer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool. Y'all could do what y'all do, but just look at all these trainers in the mix of shit, right? Just a thought that popped in my mind.
There's Leo, the escort, met him in 2022 on her birthday, saw him up until 2023. They used him every so often.
On her
And another
birthday.
escort named Michael. But there was one escort who was unnamed where we had kind of been alluding to him a little bit, and he's the one that Jane was explaining that she was immediately repulsed by him. He was really sweaty. He smelled. She was hesitant with him. She said she tried to make it work. She tried to seduce him.
This is why I love having the chat. Because when I do my straightforward super early things, yeah, I go straight through it, and and we here, and I rock with y'all, so y'all know what it is. Sit down, son. It's a more layered answer and thought towards it. On the surface, we can just say, do you trust your husband? Do you trust your wife? Husband probably gonna say, yeah, I trust my wife, and wife's gonna say, yeah, I trust my husband. That's surface. You know what I'm saying? There's these things called circumstances, right? You might trust the shit out of your wife, okay? But if your wife says, let me reverse it first before I use the wife one. Let me reverse it. You see how, like, on the internet, the passport bros, there's no violation of bro code at this point. Nobody's blowing it up. It's out there. Everybody knows, right? Instagram and Twitch and all this, it's already been exposed. The women know, all the men know, whether you've been there or not. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies, you could trust the shit out of your man. But if him and 4 of his fellas are taking a fellas trip to Colombia or to DR, certain areas of DR, I'm not trying to say that you can't go there just for a beautiful trip. All right. But certain areas of DR, certain areas of Colombia, you know, I'm hello, like, act naive if you want, then you will be the one, being in a compromised situation. That's the thing about not acting naive. Let me switch it. Let me just use let's say there's a Colombia, and it's known because you see how, like, in Colombia and Brazil, or not Brazil, well, yeah, Brazil, but certain areas of DR, they show these videos of, it'd be like 50 badass chicks in the club, and they all dancing together, and they just looking for foreigners, right? Let's reverse it, right? Let's say there's an island full of men like that, and maybe we don't know like that. Maybe it's not as blown up as DR and Colombia and shit. But what if, fellas, we found out there's this island, let's say Costa Rica, okay? Costa Rica, and it's just known for having, like, thousands and thousands of Denzels in their prime walking around. You know what I'm saying? And your wife says, me and my 3 girls, we taking a girls trip out there. You could trust her, but you don't like that, because there's also being provoked. There's a lot of opportunity, and you just don't put, people in that spot. You know what I'm saying? You don't put Pookie in, and I'm not trying to say that the women and the men is Pookie, but he's reformed, right? And he's trustworthy, right? That don't mean put him in the crack house. You know what I'm saying? He might get tempted. So sometimes, you ever hear the phrase, save yourself from yourself? Even if you are saying, I'm a very loyal person to my woman. So then the way to remain loyal is not even put yourself in that situation. Because I know how aggressive the women are in some of these foreign countries and some of these areas where they're just looking to just scoop up the next foreigner that walks by. You see some of these videos of these guys and they in these areas and they just like, shit, I ain't never leaving. They can't pull that shit in the States. What it's like out there is it's reverse role. The man is the woman. The man is the bad chick. It's reversed. The baddest women in the world in the world, they're there. And when you walk into the club, they all grabbing your clothes and grabbing your arms and your wrists, and they're trying to pull you. And you just, what the fuck? There was just 20 Jennifer Lopez's that just ripped my shirt off. And I've been here for 5 seconds. Now, you could be the most loyal person in the world, but don't put yourself in that because it's, you see what I'm saying? And I won't want to put my woman in that neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, ladies, who do y'all go after? You see the Denzel in his prime thing. You see the Idris in his prime thing. What's some other the Johnny Depps or the Brad Pitts or whoever y'all think? Who's some model? Tyson, whatever. Who's some models that had it like that? Like they just had the reputation globally in the industry, right? Now you put your woman in a fucking sea of 1,000 of them. Is that fair to do? You know what I'm saying? Jay said you better push them slores. I hear you, but I mean, we're going a little off topic. I appreciate that question in the chat. I'm just saying it's not about just trust. Okay, it's not just trust. You can have a lot of trust within your relationship, but there's circumstances that's going to make your spouse uncomfortable, and it's also gonna it's going to tease the other person. And the best thing to do is to not even put yourself in that situation to begin with. So if Shorty doesn't know and she says, I'm going, my homegirl told me about the island, you know, that we going to. I don't know nothing about it, but I know about it. And there's a million Denzels in there just reaching. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell Shorty, like, I think I'd rather you pick a different location because you gotta just be getting tempted and grab that and violated and looked at and like that for the whole weekend. You know what I'm saying? I'm being home uncomfortable. I'm being honest, right? You could be the most secure, confident man in the world. That is not comfortable. All right. I'm just saying. All right. In any event, let me play another piece of this, and then I want to get back into how I feel about her testimony for the trial.
She tried to make an attraction happen, but he was just sweating so much, according to her testimony, that she was just kind of throwing looks at her partner, and her partner being Sean Combs, and she was trying to avoid performing oral sex on this unnamed escort. She said she told Diddy that she wasn't feeling it, so Diddy and Jane had sex while the escort was there, and he was kind of hovering over her, according to her testimony, and staring at her, and that Diddy finally excused the man. But Diddy came up with a plan B, where he brought in another escort in place of this man that repulsed Jane, and that person was Paul. And so there were times she was explaining that she didn't want to do the hotel night. So she had said that there was one night that she and Diddy were bickering because she didn't want to do the nights anymore, and that Diddy said, well, you don't have to do it anymore. And Jane said that she didn't believe that he really meant that. So she went back to the hotel room. Diddy gave her ecstasy, and then an escort came over, a sex worker came over, and Jane said that she just couldn't do it with this man, but she wanted to make it up to Diddy. And so she later called another escort, and that escort being Cabral. And she said, at this point in my relationship, she just knew what Diddy wanted. But I think as far as maybe a juror is concerned, that could be a little confusing, where it's like, okay, is it sex trafficking, or are you just doing what your partner at the time or partner is just kind of wanting as far as his own sexual desires? Is it really non-consensual? I think that's kind of a moment that I personally was trying to hear about, where she was just like, this is non-consensual. I didn't get my permission for this to happen. But it seemed like from her testimony that we've heard so far, there hasn't been an instance that I can recall of her actually just being like, this is non-consensual from what I've heard so far. But then
stop there. Okay. There's just a lot there, man. It's a lot. Let me collect my thoughts. The whole thing about consent. You guys seen, I had a stream, I don't know how many weeks ago, where I had a rant about, we got to make sure that we teaching these children the importance of no means no. And then you take that all the way up through adulthood. Okay. Like, I'm different. I know there's people in the world that they air quotes consent to things that they're not comfortable with, they're not happy with, they don't really want to do. And I sympathize based on circumstances with some of those people. I'm just a different type of person, so I have a different type of mentality, right? I'm not doing shit I don't want to do, period. You know what I'm saying? It's about being headstrong. It's about being firm. It's really the no means no shit. So the consent thing. I, if you got me on the jury, my personality really takes consent and makes one clear delineation. And it's damn near extreme versus you're allowing it, which is like, was it taken? Was it forced? When I say forced, I don't even mean like forced labor, like almost like, well, I did this because I needed to keep paying my bills. And I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm talking about you was grabbed, you was thrown in there, and he forced himself on you. That the big R word. It's tough for me to see that you did something 10, 15, 20 times in the hotels and in the parties and all the text messages going back and forth, and you didn't like this particular guy. You didn't want to go down on this guy because he was too sweaty. Like, this is real shit coming out of the trial, right? But the other ones, you didn't text that. You didn't tell me about like, oh, this guy I'm not attracted to, or he smells, or and the consent is just, you can't tell me this is a non-consensual situation for my type of personality. That's just off the table if I'm a jury or if I'm a juror. So that's one thing there. The sex trafficking. We see what the government is obviously doing here. You got all these different sex workers. You've already used, whether it's assistants, whether it was Cassie, whether it's now 50 cents BM allegedly. We see what you're doing. And we don't even got those people there. We had the Punisher guy there, and somebody. You don't really need to, because now you've already clearly got testimony of breaking state lines and in and out the country and everything like that. You're still gonna have so many men that watch this trial that say, these are women or men that are being flown in and flown out and being just brought in to what you like to do in your personal bedroom. And if what you're doing to break the law and say now it's a Fed case is the fact that money was involved, people's just going to feel like there's a billion people doing that right now. They may not be getting as freaky as Diddy, but actually there are. There's a lot of people in the world right now, the whole cuckold world. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to find people, right, that are comfortable with these type of sexual situations, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, the person that you're bringing in, right? Let's be mature, people, because everybody in this chat, we know the demographics. 2 weeks ago, y'all all listed y'all ages. Y'all was like mid-20s all the way into your 50s. Everybody that was listening to age on this chat. Okay, let's have a mature conversation, people. We know what a fucking cuckold is. Okay? We do. I might have been browsing some porn. It pops up. What is that? I learned what the word was long time. I clicked 1 or 2 to see what long time ago. I learned what it was about. Okay, let's be honest. Don't tell me you know what it is and then act like pause. No, grow up. All right. So these guys are doing some of the same shit that Diddy is doing. They're exposing their wives. They bringing in some guy and they standing in the corner jacking off or recording, and they're doing the exact same thing. We are shocked for 2 reasons. One, it's Diddy. If you go pull up Pornhub right now and you just type in the word cuckold and you see all these fucking fat guys with their wives, and they got the Punisher guy that comes in and takes their wives down, nobody's shocked. It's what they're into. We're shocked, 1, because it's Diddy. We're shocked, 2, because we never seen any of them. That's all. Like Whack 100 is right about that. If Diddy would have came out 5 years ago, whatever, and he would have expressed that he's bisexual or he's into some of this stuff. Like, I'm not talking about the little hints like sex at me while your man masked. I'm not talking the shit with Biggie is crazy. It changes that song forever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, and I'm not saying he would have to, because maybe that would have altered his career, altered his sponsors and all this type of stuff. Okay. But it's just a shock to everybody. All right. But there's a million people fucking doing this shit. Now let's talk about the payment. The payment thing. I just come up in a time where I just felt like You know what we're seeing? It's almost the evolution of the word prostitute. It almost feels like that, right? The Punisher testified that he was brought in. He thought he was going to dance. He asked Cassie when Cassie opened up the door, where I get changed. And then next thing you know, things are going in this direction because she told him we want to create a sexy scene, and he went along with it. It's a beautiful woman in front of me. All right. I'm accepting the fact they tell me your husband's going to walk out. It's all good. The amount of money to him was just like, oh shit, I'm cool. Well, all right, let's go. Whatever. Right. So we come up with that word prostitution. We think of like Hunts Point. Right. It's just like you drive out to Hunts Point, you see women out there walking a fucking beat, and you go ahead and let one of them walk up to your window. What do you want? You exchange negotiations. You get to your car, whatever. So all out fucking prostitute. Versus, I got this trainer that I've been working with. I'm attracted to him. I think you would be attracted to him, or I seen him on his website. And I want to bring him into our bedroom. And when he gets there, I'm going to give him some money and I'm going to pay him for. I guess I'm kind of explaining prostitution, but it's just bugged out, man, because it's also looking at it like it's Diddy, and Diddy's gonna cut you a check regardless, whether it's a lot or a little. And to a degree, some of that is hush money. Don't be naive. Some of it's like, yo, here, I'm taking care of you, and you taking care of us. Because Diddy could get 1 million people for free. Think about it. Diddy could get a million people for free. You know how many? There's a lot of men and or women that's just turned out by the fact that it's Diddy. Probably homosexual or bisexual men out there that might even be attracted to him, or just men that's just attracted to Cassie, and just like, yo, Diddy might sit in the corner, or don't even gotta be Diddy. Like somebody might sit in the corner. Shit, I'm in there with Cassie though. Somebody gonna do it. They don't even have to pay. I don't know. It's tough. So getting back to 50 Cent's BM, because once again, this is important testimony as it relates to the trial. What are we, almost halfway through? No, we're not halfway through yet. But the $10,000 for her, what was that, her rent? Where do we stand on that? They were talking about in trial as if Diddy to this day is still paying her fucking rent. Still paying her rent. Also, that there was an alleged agreement early on when they first started their relationship. I don't know if it was down on paper or not, but an alleged agreement. Hey, me and you gonna rock like this, whether that with words or without words includes freak offs. And I'm gonna give you this $10,000 a month, right? Now, I can say how many of these rich men, the rappers are blowing it up and try to make it popular, of just tricking on women. And I bought her this, I bought her that, I bought her a car. What Future is just rapping? If she don't got an AP, she ain't mine. You know how much an AP costs? Costs more than $10,000. All right. So it's very, very common. And then that's just like the hip hop influence side of things. Just the regular world. They got all these millionaires and billionaires and sugar daddies and Hugh Hefner ass type of niggas out there in the world. That's cutting a check. That's just cutting a fucking check to their girl in some form or another. And that's what kills me, because when you got gray area, if you send me back into deliberation, once you got gray area, I can't convict. You need black and white, right? With the past reasonable doubt, right? So if I know this money, it's not like that prostitute walking up to your car at Hunts Point, right? It's like sometimes it's not the cash. Sometimes it could just be a pair of shoes. These Instagram models is flying all over the fucking world for these fucking guys, and they leaving with a shopping spree. What's that shopping spree? People, let's be honest. It's an exchange. I didn't fly you in for conversation. He flew you in to fuck. Okay? Be honest. He flew you in the fuck. If before y'all got to the hotel room, when he picked you up at the airport, he drove you to the mall first, you got some shoes, got a bag, got a bracelet, I don't know, whatever. And you went back to the hotel and y'all fucked all night. And the next morning he flew you back out. Shorty, you, to a degree, some of them, was into him or was cool with chilling with him. Some of the women don't even give a fuck about who it is, the guy, right? But if you subtract the bracelet or the shoes or the bag or the quick trip to the mall, and some of these women ain't even getting that. If you subtract the fact that I just enjoy the fact that somebody flew me out, I got a chance to switch states, get out of wherever I'm from for a weekend. I got a chance. He sent a car for me to pick me up, or he drive me around in the luxury cars. Yeah, a lot of these people are not seeing this type of lifestyle. Sometimes that you just taking that, right? So if that was your exchange, why am I to interpret the $10,000 that Diddy's paying for your crib any different? It's about what is the air quotes. What's the exchange? What's the exchange? A bag, a car, a AP, rent. What's the exchange? And it's obviously not a one-time thing because I got you all out operating on my team, because it's not easy to come by the Cassies and the, well, maybe it is for Diddy, I don't know. The Cassies and the 50 Cents being beautiful women and involve them in this type of shit. Get them to consistently do this type of shit. I'm talking about 10, 11 years, right? All out relationships. 50 Cent BM is up there testifying she was in love with Diddy. She was mad when she found out about other women and all that. This ain't even a fluid in, quick weekend. Nice to meet you. Where's my bag? Where's my purse? Leave my $5,000 on the counter and I'm going home. It's not even that. They maintained the relationship. And he maintained, I got something for you. $10,000. Dare I ask, shorty, subtract Diddy. Are you homeless? Who's paying? I mean, a $10,000 rent, unless you got some wicked brownstone like in Manhattan or some shit like that. $10,000 a month gets you a pretty nice property, right? But it's like Murder Mook when he rapped to Amber Rose. I got to ask the question, what do you do? Okay, that's cool, beautiful and all that, but what do you do? What do you do? Oh, I get it. We're going to say coercion because you felt you were trapped without Diddy paying that $10,000 a month rent for that lavish, that once again, $10,000 gets you something nice for that crib. Without that, you're homeless. So you're forced and you're entrapped. But Murder Mook question to Amber Rose, what do you do? If you had to leave $10,000 a month and scale back to $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month, shit, I know people live great, $1,000 a month. Nice little rent crib, $1,000 a month. Depending where you at, $1,000 a month. Could you do it on your, what do you do? Is your profession being with a celebrity? What did you do back in, I don't know, let's say 15 years ago? I modeled, I was finding my way. And then after that, what'd you do? Well, after that, then I got into a relationship with 50 Cent and I stopped working. I didn't work. And I had a kid. I was being a mother. Okay. This Diddy stuff running around with him. What was there anything that you did for yourself? What did you do? I was just his freak off relationship girlfriend. And the exchange was he was giving me, okay, so now let me put Diddy in jail because he sex trafficked people, cuckolds or whatever, his cuckold sexual ambitions. You got to go after the whole cuckold world. He brought in these sex workers to fuck on you all weekend long while he watched. That was his thing. And he happened to pay your rent. And you kept doing it because you felt like, A, you wanted to please him. This is their testimonies, people. You wanted to please him. You're testifying that you loved him. You had jealous moments, right? And I don't want to lose this $10,000 a month, which reports are saying he's still fucking paying to this day. Shorty, the question once again, What do you do? Okay, so let me move to this piece here now. We're gonna stop the Diddy. Give me a second. We'll close this out. I can stay here for a second, but we'll close it out. If 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 this if the sex trafficking involving these girls that were willingly, I gotta say it, in my opinion, allegedly, but willingly doing this shit across months or years of time. If you are to tell me that because he was chipping them off or because he flew in at times, paid for travel, that's what it is. You know, let me go back 1 second, people. I said this in a totally unrelated stream as well. Maybe like last year. I said rich people expand their dealings. Okay. Rich people that got money, like it's not about damn who can I meet at the club, and if they live in the same neighborhood, bet it works. If they live in the same city, yes, it works. I have access to this person. If they live in the same state, I can figure this out. They don't even gotta be rich. People with just money, period. Like they're not limited to like, fuck, damn, I just met this girl and I asked her where she stay at. And I stay in Miami, and she told me that she's staying in Canada. Fuck, damn, I'm never gonna see her again. That's not what happens when you got money. You know what I'm saying? They have no problem saying, I'm gonna pay for your travel. Come see me. Or I might come see you. Right. It's just a way about it. And we transform that because these Instagram models and some guys out there too have started to create a profession off of dealing with these guys and turning them into tricks. So now you got the terminology of flued out, right? If you would have asked me about this shit in the 90s and you say, ARP, you met that girl, you from Staten Island, New York, that's where you live. And you met this girl and she's from Florida. How you gonna link up? I'll pay for her travel. That's what I would say. Right now, when she came in and she got off the plane and I picked her up and I wined and dined her, maybe we did go shopping, maybe we did go to the mall, maybe I did buy her something and bought myself some shit too, right? Yeah, maybe when she was leaving, she sob storied me and said some shit like, yeah, come rock with you for the whole weekend. I really want to leave after one day, but you asked me to stay for 4 days, so I'm gonna do it. But I work gigs back home, so every day I'm away is money that I missed. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, word. You know what? I really like us. I want you to come rock with me again. You missed some money while you was away. What you miss? $100 a day? Here, hold on to this. Hit round it up to 500. Hold on to that. You know what I'm saying? I want you to feel like you missing money back home while you rocking with me. Hold on to that. ARP just sex trafficked. It's tough. I'm looking for more. Is the trial so far is too personal to his sex life. It's not. I'm looking for stuff above that. Obviously, we're not in state, we're in federal. I'm looking for stuff above that because you're going to continue to make people feel like, why did he? They're going to throw around the liquor conspiracy when he sued that major company. You know, they're going to throw around he's a billionaire black entertainer. You know what I'm leaning on so far? People just getting tired of him. You just can't slap the government and slap the law in the face forever. You got to get low sometimes. You just got a key to the city. Remember, they had to take it back. You got to chill out a little bit. You had the Shine trial. You know, you had other situations. You had maybe this Kid Cudi bomb situation, car thing. People knew about this. We didn't know, but people knew about it. You know, you hear rumors, Keefe D get grabbed up. He starts saying Diddy name about murders and whatnot. And then Cassie comes with the lawsuit. At this point for now, I reserve an opportunity to change my opinion. But right now, what it feels like is you were doing too much. You can't get to the point where it's like you're just lawless and above the law. And if we got to sit you down and get you up out of here and we're tired of you and that's it, what can we put together? We can say legally when this person got flued out or you paid for their travel and then you had this sex session with them or whatever, that's sex trafficking. Okay, cool. If that's the letter of the law, you got them. Right? But there's a million people doing the same thing. And it just, these variables that we're breaking down and we're discussing. Right now, I don't want to do liquor company conspiracy theory. I just want to say, Diddy, you're too visible doing too much. And it was time for them to say, we at him. We at him. Because this shit right here, I'm not convinced. And I'm still not jumping out of any windows, people. I promise y'all I will do that until we get to the day of the verdict. I'm not jumping out of any windows. There still could be more shit on the way. There could be in this trial. He's winning in the court of public opinion. Okay. Clearly. All right. Did we chop that down enough, people? Do we feel like, at least from the Sorry It's True podcast standpoint, we've come up to speed on the bombshells with 50s PM and whatnot? Let me leave it alone because we still got a bunch to do. And I owe y'all that because, like I said, I had to go away like Thursday. And once again, for anybody that wasn't in the stream, we still got a bunch more to cover, a bunch more topics to go over. And at the end, I'll give y'all my recap of how it was in the Cayman Islands for the Globetrotters and the travelers, let y'all know the places that you should go and you shouldn't go. Okay. But as far as our topics wise, let's get into Lil Wayne. So if you missed the intro, I told y'all I listened to it twice over this past couple days while I was away. I listened to it 2 times, man. 2 times. If you follow me on Twitter, we don't need to do the whole build up. I tweeted, I said, I ignored some of the buzz so I could give it my own ear. I was seeing what they were saying. I gave it my own ear twice. And the buzz is true. It is trash. Let's not bullshit. It is a trash album. Okay. There's so many different conversations that this has spawned. Is he a GOAT? Is he losing it? Does he have a million yes men around him? People now bringing up the Super Bowl halftime show again. They're doing all that, with Wayne's name. Let's talk about the album specifically first. Why it's trash. So Lil Wayne has always had lyrical ability, and he's always had a couple pockets that he dominates in. All right. Almost in this album, there are times where you see him experimenting a little bit. Okay. You do see him experimenting at times. He experimented too much. We know that Lil Wayne has always said he writes in his head. He doesn't write shit down. He hasn't done that forever. And that's cool. But there was almost a laziness to the song creation, in my opinion. And now I'm not talking about the production yet. It just seemed like a laziness that was there. Lyrically, there are times where it's Lil Wayne. Like, that don't go nowhere. It's not like a basketball player where your knee is a shot. Like, I feel like Jay-Z could make a classic album right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are artistic and their mental, as long as their brain is there. So Lil Wayne still raps his ass off at times, but it's a lot of laziness to the song approaches. The production is one of the biggest standouts as far as this shit is. It's like, what are you doing? When you listen to the beat selection, I'm really, really a music guy, right? Music corrupts me for the moment. Okay. It's like the devil's instrument on some sinner shit. I could just be chilling. Like, people around me know I just be chilling, and you play the right song, and I'm in another world, And music it does that to a lot of people. It's soul moving, it's soul stealing. And when I listen to some of these songs start, you ever have that moment where you play a song, and the moment it comes on, you're like, oh, what's that? And then by the time you hear the cadences or the flows or the chorus or the bridges, you're just like, this is a hit. This is crazy right here. A lot of producers and artists have that same moment in the studio. It's like, that's the one. It's when you have music in your soul. You could hear it. You could feel it. And every song that came on, I was waiting to get grabbed. And I was just like, I don't know if I got grabbed one time. There's like a handful, maybe 1 or 2 songs on the album. You're just like, all right, that was a good song. All right, that was cool. Right. Oh, that gets by. That was solid. But nothing made me stop and drop. Like, oh, nothing. Not a single song. And it's like 19 tracks, right? Not a single song makes you stop and drop everything. Over this past weekend, no, last weekend, as a matter of fact, last weekend. That's what Ace Trumpets did to me. You know, I'm not saying Ace Trumpets is the best song in the world, but it came on. The little saying in the beginning is culturally inappropriate. And they hear Pusha ballerinas and the side of my soul glow, the rose gold. You had to see it, Ace Trumpets and then the beat drops. Yo, look, Diamonds look like Pee-Pee. I was like, oh shit. Pusha and Malice is back on some crate. What? And then the flow that they use. That's what I mean. I didn't have one of those on the whole Carter 6. Not one. Not one. GOAT status. Now let's have this quick conversation. I don't like to live in moments. All right. Let me help steer people into being a little bit more open-minded. All right. Lil Wayne has done so much for us, just album wise. Just album wise. All right. Just album wise. This is a classic. Carter 3 is a classic, right? Just album wise. Just album wise. He's done a lot. Okay. Dare I mention his mixtapes? The dedication and the drought and all the stuff with DJ Drama, and he's put out arguably more music than any other rapper. Like when he was in that golden era, when he was like, he's the number one, he's the golden child, he's at the top of the game, it's like the lollipop era and all that, right? When he told us he lives in the studio, we believed it because it was, I don't understand how he put out so much music. It just seemed, it was alien-like. It was alien-like. And when I remind myself of that, I say, Lil Wayne, you get a pass. You get a pass. Don't get it twisted. When I see Jordan go 6-0 in the finals and Steph's finals record and Shaq and Kobe's finals record was LeBron like 4-6, 4-8 or some shit. Like, like I don't want to see LeBron ever, put up 0 in a playoff game because it's LeBron. You're one of the GOATs. That's what Lil Wayne just did. He just walked into an important, because the Carter series is important to hip hop. It's the Carter series, right? I don't want to see LeBron walk into the finals or walk into the conference finals and drop 0 in a game, right? That's what Lil Wayne just did. He's got, you guys staying with me on all my metaphors and my parallels? He's got a bunch of championship rings. So LeBron never gets removed. You guys staying with me on my parallels, right? He never gets taken out of the GOAT conversation. LeBron. He doesn't. All these rings that he got, along with all the side stats, the mixtapes. Keep up with me. He's got too much. So he stays where he belongs. But when you get on that court and drop 0 in the finals, it's not a regular season game. It's the Carter. Nas would never. Jay-Z would. Let me stop. I don't got to do that. So put it this way. If Lil Wayne puts out another project, whether mixtape or album, and he does this again, then we will just have no choice but to say, your mind, your musical soul, your thought patterns towards being a creative have changed so much in a drastically different direction that That's it. And that's okay. That's okay. Some people is going to evolve. A Kobe, a Jordan, a LeBron, they're gonna evolve into like, all right, I gotta get this fadeaway jump shot happening now. I gotta develop my 3-pointer now. I'm not playing an above the rim game the way I used to. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And some artists evolve for the better or for the worse. And you got all these evolutions that we can watch people in their careers take, you know. And if this is his evolution, then we have lost Lil Wayne forever. And that's still okay because he left us with a lot of chips. A lot of chips. So if I'm going to stay consistent of not jumping out the window, I'm going to say, Wayne, we're going to chalk this one. We're going to chalk this one because you earned it. I don't like that it's a championship game, but you earned it. You earned it, buddy. So let me grab myself and say I'm so mad because I'm out on vacation. I'm here. I got the car to 6. Yes, this is a beautiful. I got my music. I'm running around the Cayman Islands and all this shit. And what? I'm supposed to be pissed off at you, and I'm not supposed to be saying this shit right now. I calm down and let me be real. Let me be fair. We owe you this one. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all good. But don't do this shit again. Don't do this shit again. If you do, I'm not the guy that puts my hand on the stove, gets burnt, does it again, and expects to not. No. If you do it again, then you will be asking me to be naive, to have a different expectation. I'm just going to say this is what you are now, you know? So, all right, there goes my Carter 6 reaction. And what I brought up here on the screen is his sales because I like paying attention to the numbers, not on the pocket watching side, but on the success of an album side, because sometimes it propels an artist as well as their label behind them to continue works, even if you got to go in a different direction, right? You hear people like Hitman saying, the moment I show up to an event and there's 20 people there, it's the last time you'll ever see me. I'm pretty sure it would happen to Lil Wayne too. If Lil Wayne puts out Carter 7 and it sells 5,000 copies, he'll never put out an album again. He'll be like, all right, fuck y'all, I'm done. The market's not there for me anymore, okay? So that's why I cared about the sales. And it's funny, I pulled up just about all these albums, right? Block is Hot 230. Let's go to the Carter 116. Okay. Carter 2, 240. Carter 3 on top of the world. Look at this. 1 million first week. Platinum first week on top of the world. He got to Carter 4 because he look at this type of dip here. After Carter 3, when you sold 1 million records in the first week, you went all the way down to, it's still good numbers, but you went all the way down from 1 million to 176 and then to 110. Some labels might look at this period right here and say, all right, that's it. We built up all of this. We got to your peak. And then when you came after the Carter 3, we wanted a nice percentage, at least half of this. We didn't get that. We didn't even get 500, and we ended up at 176. Rebirth is once again going in a little bit different of a direction than the Carters, of course, sonically wise. And then you dip down again. But look at this. You get to the Carter 4, and you do 964, almost plat again. So it's Lil Wayne. Like, he's staying a monster in the game. And then you go up to 217. Which surpasses a bunch of these that are in the ones, right? The Carter 5, you jumped all the way up to 480 again. You can't even predict this fucking guy. The Funeral down to 139. So you know what it is? If you only go on this list without going into the tracks and the timing of the music industry at that time, where sales were, how the market was, what the things were digital, what the hard copies were coming into play at that time, the type of music that was hot at that time, how he was coming on his album at that time, all of that. If you remove all those things and you just look at these numbers here, you say, the fans are showing up for what we know you for. They are. They're showing up for what we know you for. They're showing up for what we expect you to say, okay, we in that Lil Wayne mode. Right? Look, the numbers show it. So this is where even using the Carter becomes be careful. I could use that example in battle rap. No shots. It's just real shit, people. In battle rap, you have interviews of me saying, I do max out whenever I want. We did them back to back, like February and then like July, 1 and 2. Hitman versus Cassidy main event, then Hitman versus Calico main event. And then I waited like 2 years to get to Max Out 3. And everything I was telling y'all between then is like, I want to be careful. It's got to be the main event that I really have a RBE legacy towards. And I'm not playing with that word max out. I'm not playing with it. The fans have such an expectation for it that it's twofolded. It's twofolded. Where the name becomes so strong that you can make the money just off the name. Franchises, people. You announce Predator. You announce Terminator. You announce The Matrix. You announce Mission Impossible. You announce The Carter. You see what I'm saying? Series of things. Franchises. You know? And sometimes franchises, they get worse, or sometimes they just capitalize on money. Underworld was a series that just, what did y'all do? Like, y'all don't even care about the raw and gritty nature. You just threw this together. Sometimes people don't maintain what the franchise is. Max Out, I say, oh, no, hell no. When I come with Max Out again, you guys are going to say, yeah, he gave us what we expect. URL has done themselves over a little bit by doing that, you know, because Sub of Madness and Gnome is so synonymous with boom, Super Bowl, right? or NBA Finals, right? And then when they see like Gnome Impact, like, what do you mean you 2-on-2s? Or what do you mean that your first announcement is that? Like, you see what I'm saying? A battle that I can get on any card you do. Gnome is night of main events. So I expect everything to damn near feel like a co-main event bare minimum. And what is that? You could do that on an app-only event or Born Legacy. You see what I'm saying? It's not hate. It's not hate. I'm making a point about from the outside looking in, and you hear the fan reaction to it. When you build something up and it has a reputation, and then you deliver way, way under that, you tarnish the legacy of it, right? And if you're not ready to give the people what that title or that series or that franchise means, then just do something else. Right? You don't have to do another John Wick. Do a spinoff. You don't have to do Max Out 3 right away. Go do Lift His Soul. You don't have to do Gnome for this card. Just do a Born Legacy. You know, you got to protect the name of the franchise. So if he puts out Carter 7, right? And you see, once again, to the point that I'm making is in numbers. They're showing up for the franchise. They're saying we're here for you. If you do this again on Carter 7, now you can't get my hand back on the stove again. I'm going to say, nah, that's it. That's it. But for this one, I'm giving you a pass. I don't want to give you a pass, but he earned it. Okay? He earned it. Shout out to our members, Mike in the building. I appreciate when we're on the same accord. Sometimes y'all agree with me. Sometimes y'all disagree with me. But I appreciate when we're on the same accord. That means I'm not talking to a bunch of people that's like, what the fuck is he talking about? I appreciate y'all. All right, what do I got next? Yeah, I owe y'all a long stream. You know, after being out the country for a couple of days. So I owe y'all a long stream. All right, let's move on to the fourth face in the thumbnail. Do y'all like these thumbnails? I like these thumbnails. Big, bold faces representing the first topics, the main topics, right? And instead of a custom reaction of me every thumbnail, I'm just sitting there at the bottom, just regular Sorry Shoe podcast, ARP picture, the same thing that's on the top of the channel, same thing as my Instagram, my Twitter default now. I liked it. I figure I'd try it with y'all. I liked it. Thank you, love. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Shout out to Jay. She's reminding y'all, like, comment, subscribe, turn on all notifications. We working. All right, let's go to Brittany Renner. This is going to be a man-woman conversation. We're going to talk some shit here. I owe y'all this. We gonna talk some shit. We gonna talk some shit. let, let, let's go to the inspiration first. All right. What happened? All right, let's come up to speed. Let's make sure. Hold on. Brittany Renner revealed. Am I on the small screen? I need to make sure I'm on the small screen. Good. Brittany Renner reveals that she is already divorced from Kevin Gates after being married for less than 2 months. Okay. All right. It happens, right? It happens. Not no big deal, right? Okay.
We got married April 6th and divorced May 28th.
So you're divorced?
Yes. But there is a 90-day waiting period in Islam where it's basically you have 90 days to see if you're pregnant, because then he would be responsible, right? And then also in those 90 days, it's for reconciliation because Allah wants you to stay married. And then during those 90 days, you are not to like entertain anybody romantically. So what I will say is that Islam has made my life a lot easier. I think even with this transition and things changing. Right. Honestly, it's like I don't think anybody gets married to not stay married. So I think my biggest thing for me is this is a nice 90-day reset, just focusing on myself and pouring into myself. And what I also will add is that I followed my heart, and that's more than what most people can say in this world. We got married April 6th and divorced May 28th.
So you're divorced?
Yeah.
He said, so she clearly said it. We got married this date. We got divorced this date. Yeah, your man bootleg Kev still couldn't process it fast enough. He said, wait. So you're divorced? Yo, ARP, are you up here laughing at somebody's divorce? No, it's not that. We covered Britney before. Y'all know where I stand. We covered Kevin Gates before. You know where I stand. And disclaimer, this is absolutely no disrespect or no attack at all on Islam practice or beliefs. This has nothing to do with that at all. Shout out to all my folks that practice and believe in and follow what they follow. It's all right to do so. But Britney specifically, that was kind of quick, right? Even this whole, the 90-day law about trying to reconcile and make sure you're not pregnant and all that. I don't think anybody believes. I don't. It's just my opinion. I'm not presenting it as a fact. I'm presenting it as my own little personal, small little opinion. I think that I've already broken down that I think that she's a chameleon, and she can adapt, and she will, she will become what she needs to be to get next to the people that she wants to get next to. And I'm curious if 12 months from now we still see her walking around garbed up and practicing Islam. 12 months. 12 months. You'll make a believe out of me. Give it another 12 months. Because the Brittany Renners in the world, in my opinion, if you go meet Diddy ain't practicing no fucking Islam, right? If you meet Diddy, right, all that shit is coming off. All those practices are going out the window. All those beliefs will be forgotten in a split second. In my opinion, that's what I see in her. Now, the whole Kevin Gates thing, I asked the question earlier, like, Kevin, do you know who you with? Do you see who you with? You out here calling out LeBron's wife. Do you see who you got next to you? Do you see the things she's already publicly claimed and said about herself on the internet? Do you see her roster? Do you understand what this is? Do you see what she said post having a kid with that little sports star? Right? Do you see who's next to you? And Kevin Gates, he's got his outlandish stuff on the internet too. He's said some wild things. He's done some wild things. Not necessarily somebody that I would say you should choose as your role model. Okay. But when you look at Kevin Gates and he tries to do that whole thing of the real nigga this, real nigga that, I'm so honest with myself. I'm such a, I'm so secure in myself. I have so much confidence. If you choose that as your wife, I'm sorry, but there are just certain things that represent you in a way that devalue what you claim to be. Period. I haven't even gotten to the guy-girl conversation yet, people. Bear with me. Like, if you get a certain perception of me, right? You know, ARP he ain't perfect. He done fucked up a lot of things, gotten into it with people. He's made mistakes. He's been wrong a lot of times in his life. The last thing that guy is perfect. But his character consistently. Now, if you found out I was doing freak offs or whatever, you would be shocked because you just don't see that in me. That's what happened with. That's why we shocked about Diddy. You don't see it, right? If you catch me walking in through the mall and I'm with Superhead, you'd be like, all right, maybe he just wants to test it out like the rest of the industry did. But if I came on stream and I started telling you, Superhead, that's my woman. That's my lady. I'm finna marry her. I'm popping up courtside with her. You see me arm in arm with her. You would look at me like, that don't fit who we think you are to choose that as your woman or as your spouse or as your wife. It's weird. So it starts to make you ask the question, how did the Superheads, the Ruby Roses, the Brittany Renners of the world, how did they continue to navigate like this among so many powerful men at times? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up a video. I'm going to start to play it. And then I'm going to tell you why. Okay? So let me play this video real quick. And while this is running, I'm going to listen to it in the background with y'all. I already skimmed it. I know what it's about. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. But don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm going to break this down for y'all. Oh, my bad. I didn't bring it up on the screen. Duh. I got y'all. Give me 1 second. Here you go. All right, bet.
Britney made a name for herself on social media as a sought-after woman, one who has led men like Kodak Black to actively lust after her in full view of cameras.
I like to drink what I like to drink, and you can give me what I like to drink.
You gonna drink me? So you drinking yak?
You want me to drink you?
You gonna be drinking yak anyway?
You want me to drink you?
I drink you.
I know you drink me, but I don't drink yet. Anyways, Brittany Renner, Kodak Black, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Over the years, she has assembled an extensive roster of rappers and basketball players, the size of which had even a freak like Shannon Sharp panting.
Because my dating pool is impressive, expansive, I've had sex with 35 guys, okay?
Whew. Oh, Lord.
Impressive isn't the word.
Particularly after she revealed 3 of them occurred in one day.
There was a video that I did in my car where I was talking about how I had sex with, was it 3 men in a day,
Yes.
and then I ended up getting a yeast infection.
Yes.
I came out pretty unscathed for just a yeast infection.
Although not confirmed, there are rumors that she had a thing with none other than the sex god Drake, as they were spotted out together plenty of times over the years. But one rapper we know for a fact that she was embroiled in a relationship with was none other than Lil Uzi Vert. Sadly, the bond did not last, with Renner insisting it wasn't all that serious.
I mean, you've spent time with the GOAT,
Who's the goat?
Who's the goat?
Lil Uzi.
Oh my god.
She doesn't even call him Lil Uzi. She calls him by his
Samir.
real- Yeah.
You were never in love with Lil Uzi?
Of course I love him. He's cute. He's fun. He's nice. Like, what's not to love about
Not
Uzi?
that kind of love. We all love him that way.
I haven't been in love in years, so I haven't met that guy.
Once on the rebound, she dipped back into the pool of professional athletes, and wound up having a kid with basketball star PJ Washington, leading to a chaotic relationship that Britney admitted to acting out with during interviews.
I will air this bitch the fuck out. Delete the fucking tweet. You are a fucking psycho, fucking path, liar, hypocrite. Delete the fucking tweet or I will fucking drag you, bitch.
I don't recognize that woman in the voice text. I don't recognize. Thank you, mother.
Since then, Britney continued to make her living from social media, and it resulted in plenty of ridiculous moments, including one very strange encounter with Charleston White.
Of a persona, an online persona, a scapegoat. Whereas Miss Renner doesn't have the same luxury. She is who she is. And we're gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to. Ladies and gentlemen, we in Miami right now. I need some music, baby. Can I get some motherfucking music?
Although she's never formally said it, this seemed to be her rock bottom. As soon, Britney was about to repent her old ways. Because while she's still dating rappers, things have taken an abrupt U-turn. These days, Britney is dating Kevin Gates, a satiation which they seem to manifest when you consider the flirty videos that surfaced when they were younger.
Hi. Wow. How you feeling?
Amazing. Hey, thank you. Hey, this I don't care if you get this on camera. I just want to say thank you for being an amazing person, always living in your truth. You inspire others silently. They probably don't want to admit it, but you inspire me. Thank you so much.
Since then, she's converted to Islam and is now living a normal, idyllic life with Kevin.
Here, make this left right here, baby. Very wholesome. Oh my God, grocery shopping. I love this for us. You know, we just doing wholesome, but this is very wholesome, regular activity.
However, this hasn't come without its issues, because as it turns out, making money has proven to be difficult, especially when she's best for being known as an IG thought.
First of all, Allahu Akbar. I've gone through a lot of changes internally, and as a result, my outer world has completely crumbled. If I have no idea where I'm going to live or how I'm going to provide for my son, the facade is fading, alhamdulillah. And I'm at a place where I don't want anything that doesn't have my name on it. Take it away.
And when she took it to IG, it's fair to say that she received little to no sympathy. $5K a month child support. You crying to the wrong tax bracket, girl. Bye. UPS is hiring. For Renner, it seems like there's a path of redemption that she's intent on going on. But some people seem beyond salvation, and if there's a prime example of that, it's Selena Powell. Today, she's a prominent online figure, but back then, she gained prominence when she faked a pregnancy from Offset without caring who got hurt in the process.
A bad experience, we made up with Offset.
I'm gonna leave her alone. I don't even know how this one's even worse. How like Britney understand. I'm gonna break down why I understand Britney, but this one, Selena Powell, I don't even understand the why. Let me leave this picture up here. Let me go here. Let me go here. Okay. And shout out to Luis as always. You see I'm subscribed. Y'all should subscribe to him as well. He puts out some great content that we react to at times. Love the edit, man. Once again, great video. Shout out to you, homie. All right. Let's do the man-woman conversation, chat. Let's do that. So men, they say we are visual creatures, right? And they say we are at times very simplistic, very simple. The men are from Mars, women are Venus type of studies to show what intrigues a man, what traps a man, what catches a man's attention. I'd like to say that some of that stuff is true commonly, right? It's not an apply to all men type of thing. Dare I say, all of us are visual fucking creatures, okay? Any woman that I've ever dated has seen me before she heard a single thing about me. Well, then again, that ain't true. Well, let's say pre-RBE. All right. Has seen me, right? There's nothing wrong with having your eyes, perform a physical attraction, and you walk up on a guy, you walk up on a girl in the club, and you introduce yourself, and yada, yada, yada. And then at that point, if you're looking for more, right, is when you try to interpret more. You get to the date, maybe you ask a couple questions. So, hey, any friends or family, or what's your family like, or your mother, father? Do you have any brothers and sisters? What are you into? What type of things you like to do? Give me a general weekend for yourself. What do you like to eat? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite album? What's your favorite artist? What do you like to do in your spare time? What'd you do last weekend? Have you ever traveled here? I have a little general first date shit, right? You try to understand the connections. You try to understand the substance of somebody. Like if you sit down at that dinner, and it's just like, tell me the last place you visited. My lobby? Okay, cool. What do you do for a living? I'm in between jobs right now. I don't really work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to figure things out. Okay, it happens. People fall on hard times. Tell me about your family, man. Your brothers, sisters? Got mother, fathers around or whatever. We don't get along, no. Okay. Tell me about your homegirls. You know what I'm saying? Like, your girls be hanging out a lot or whatever. Like, what type of person are you? You know what I'm saying? Nah, all my friends cut me off. But it's like all these red flags. Men, women want to think that I'm gonna come to you in a second, Jay. I see something in the chat that you just put. People love to think that we are so simple and we are so visual that all we need is a fat ass, some thick thighs, a pretty face, long hair, and a pair of titties. And unfortunately, that is very, very true for a lot of moments. Key in on the word moment, okay? Why do I say the word moment like that? Beyonce, has she ever been cheated on? Halle Berry, she can't stay married. Why? Jennifer Lopez, she can't stay married. Why? Who else? Who else do y'all love? Cardi B, y'all love her? Trina, who else? Nicki Minaj, right? Any of them ever? Are they still in the same relationship that we met them in, or have they ever been cheated on? It's the moment, okay? Brittany Renner, when I look at her physically now, is she an attractive woman? Yes. She's attractive. She's pretty, long hair. She's got a pretty, one of those more athletic type of builds and physiques. A lot of men are into that. Shannon Sharp looks like he's into skinny, athletic looking type of, right? Everybody's into it. There's a whole billionaire pool of men that love her physique, her face, her hair, her complexion. I'm just talking about the physical attributes, right? In love with Brittany Renner. Very attractive woman. Cool. Now, if you're going to grab the common man from just that visual aspect and you hook him in, right? How long does that last? How long do I wake up next to Halle Berry before that subsides? How many years do I wake up next to Beyonce before that subsides? You know what I'm saying? Rihanna has to present more than her money and her beauty and her, you know what I'm saying? To have like an ASAP or any man, just stay put and stay happy for 1, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It takes you guys that, or the women that post the fat ass and the titties and the glammed up faces on Instagram, you got the hook. That's the bait. Okay. But to keep him there, you have to have way more than that. Now, I'm about to give Britney some credit that maybe nobody realized or thought that I was going to give her. Once again, she's an attractive woman. But what keeps her with this type of reputation, public reputation, still able to pull these guys into meaningful relationships? I'm not talking about the type of relationship where she got some guy attracted, she flirted with Kodak Black, made Kodak Black think that she was about to fucking bite his lip off right there in the video. She was able to take him down. And no, I'm talking about where she hangs around little Uzi Vert for months or a year, whatever. How does she do that? Dare I say, you can see in her interviews, you can see how her Instagram popped off to begin with. You could see, and when she talks to people, you could see when she's sitting there across from Shannon Sharp. Brittany Renner is very smart. She's very smart, and she has a ton of charm, a ton of, what is a bundle of Brittany? It's not just the physical thing. She is attractive. Dare I scare you by telling you, Brittany got a shitload of game. She got more game than most. I could see it. I can hear it. I can sense it. I think Brittany is the type of person that she'll get in an Instagram post and she'll tell you, honey, I try not to talk about money because chances are I've dated 50 men that have more money than you. Or I fucked 1,000 guys that fuck me better than you. But she's going to make you feel like you have the most money, like you fuck her the best, like you are the most handsome, you are the most. That within itself is game, right? I think she's able to land these guys and keep them around, not just because of their attraction, but it's the charm, the charisma, and the game that she has. And I see it. And credit to her. Because if she didn't have a personality, her Instagram would have never popped to begin with. Her sitting there at times and giving her takes on things and giving her feedback and saying things or whatever, and being outlandish and being so confident in herself. That's when people first started paying attention to her. Before we knew her resume, because they will follow you and pay attention to you simply because you slept with this celebrity, and then his following pays attention to you too. You can get famous just off of fucking a celebrity. We know this has happened a million times. But her being able to stay there and then also get into meaningful relationships. Let me have this man's kid. Let me get this man to marry me. She's willing to go full Islam to do it. And you will be sucked into it. You will believe her. You will believe what she presents. You will believe that all those smiles. You will believe her game. You will believe her charm. And she's sweeping niggas off of their feet just as much as niggas are sweeping at her. All right. You ever see how you got some of these women that come up around a bunch of brothers, a bunch of men, household full of men, and what the men do, they pour all this game and all this guy behavior into the woman, right? And then you have the woman, like some of them grow up as tomboys. Some of them just grow up, they're just like, they're so hip and they could adapt within groups of men so easily because they learn the men's buttons and they learn how to push them and then stay there. They learned it. And once again, shout out to her. Hey, I'll give you another one. She's in this video as well, but I didn't play it. Corinne Steffens, aka Superhead. Now, what's some of the reasons why Superhead made an early career? She probably made a lot of money at one point. She probably received a lot of money from a lot of people. She's been with a lot of mega stars. I think Shaquille O'Neal, allegedly. We all know the Lil Wayne one. In her book, she had Jay-Z. She had Ja Rule. She had Jadakiss. Jadakiss rapped about it, right? Rapped about it. She had Fab. She had LL Cool J. You know, Superhead's book and her claim to these celebrities was massive. Okay, you ever listen to Superhead talk? You ever listen to Superhead do interviews? You ever listen to her like podcast and be like the lead on a microphone? She's intelligent as shit. She's smart as shit. She could sit there and lead a whole. She could take over a whole room. Superhead. Now, when I say, once again, you think men are so simple, at times we are. You think men are so visual creatures, at times we are, right? Now, yes, there's probably a lot of men in the industry. It was tell a friend, tell a friend. Shorty right here, she got the best head ever. And I'm pretty sure a lot of guys want to try it. They wanted their try that. Let me see what everybody else is talking about. Let me get my foot in. Let me put my bid in. Why not? I understand that fact exists. But what about all the men that she stayed around? That she had like Lil Wayne. They was in love. And Lil Wayne ain't the only one when it comes to Corinne. Guys that would have relationships with her months and years. And it's not just I got the head or 20 times and I'm used to it. Okay, cool. Because men will move on if there's nothing else there. I saw the pictures. I saw the fat ass. I met her in the club. She was beautiful. She was glammed up. I took it down. And a lot of men, if that's their only goal, they go from my motivation and my ambition is on 10. Okay. I'm all smiles. I'm roses. I'm saying everything I need to say. I'm presenting a gentleman. I'm the perfect fucking guy. Right. I took it down. You cut it now in half. If that's my only ambition towards shorty, cut it in half. Take me from a 10 to a 5 immediately, because it's a man's innate ability or innate drive to conquer, right? It's now been fulfilled. All right. And then you add on the whole just physical, like that's what I want, right? Cut it in half. Now what do you have to keep me there? Can you move me from a 5 back up to an 8, from an 8 back up to a 10? Or just the next time I see you now, that 5 now, all right, now I fuck 3 times. 5 is now 3. I don't care, whatever. How do you maintain or move back up? It ain't the ass no more. Been there, done that. It ain't the titties no more. Been there, done that. It ain't the face no. Been there, done that. It's the intrigue. How do you present an intrigue? How do you present a mission? How do you present a chase? How do you present somebody that I click with? How do you present somebody that I want to have the same conversation with 1,000,000 times over? The Corinne Steffens of the world, when you listen to her, it's like, yeah, she had Lil Wayne turned out. You think that these men are turning some of these women out, and it's the reverse. I do see some of these girls getting spun. Like, damn, sure, you got fully taken advantage of. Like, let's say, i.e., in my opinion, a Cassie. You got turned out and you got molded into exactly what Diddy wanted and exactly what Diddy needed for 10, 11 years. It's the reverse with the superheads and the Brittany Renners of the world. They are turning you niggas out. I can see it. I could see it. They are smarter than some of y'all motherfuckers. And they got kids to prove it. What did Jay say? Jay says, oh, we're going to dance Lord of Love's boy. Who disagrees with me? Let me come to the bottom of the chat. Let me see if anybody disagrees. Let me come up a little bit. She's the reverse Erykah Badu. Erykah got a little magic that she's working over there too. I didn't even know Erykah Badu had a fat ass until she did that video where she was walking up the block with no clothes on. I asked my homegirl at the time. I was like, yo, Erykah Badu got a. She was like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? What? But Erykah Badu got something going on with her personality and her intrigue and everything. And credit to her. And it's good it's okay to have that. It's nothing wrong with having a certain level of intrigue, charisma, personality. God forbid you actually have those things. Like I don't see that in an Amber Rose, for example, right? It's okay to have those things. It's when you abuse them. That's when you start turning each other out. You know what I'm saying? When you abuse those things, that's when they start pulling you into court talking about coercion. Okay. So it's a deeper game there. And Brittany, I see what you got. Because trust me, it ain't some golden pussy that she keeps fucking these niggas with. And even if it is, a man ain't gonna treat it like gold after he took it down 5, 10, 15 times. You will be the next Jennifer Lopez or Holly Berry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nah, there's got to be other things to keep you there. Other things. You can see her intelligence in her book. There you go. And I didn't read it, but I can only imagine. MSM says how many baby daddies, how many men, her sexual experience, etc., etc. Oh, we know Kevin Gates is on the list. Shout out to Mike. One of our members says, I agree, ARP. Okay, I'm glad we on the same page, people. I appreciate y'all. Erica Braxton, our member, says, Erica is the Black Madonna. Misha, our member, says, I tell men all the time, I'll talk your drawers off, LOL. Oh, you think you got game, Misha, huh? Okay. You see, so she, I was going to say, so I'm going to leave Misha alone. You think you got it like that, huh? Listen, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having personality, charisma, good conversation. If you want the guy to stay there for months or years or a full all-out relationship or a marriage, God forbid these days, right? You gotta have more than a fat ass and a pretty face. Because once that is conquered, you know, okay. All right. It looks like we're on the same page. Looks like we're on the same page, everybody. Looks like we're on the same page. All right, cool. Shout out to the chat. I have now finished the title. Diddy with 50 Cent's BM, the Carter 6 album, Truth About Brittany Renner. That's the title. All right, we're done with the title. All right, let's get into all these other little notable things that I caught on to. And I'll save the Cayman Islands for y'all once again at the very end. I don't want to bore y'all with stuff that some of y'all might not care about. All right, what's going on with Eminem? Saw this. Look at this. Eminem sues Mark Zuckerberg's Meta for above $100 million in major lawsuit. Eminem versus Meta. Slim Shady's publishing company 8 Mile Style just hit Meta, Facebook, and IG's parent company with a $109 million lawsuit. Meta allegedly used 243 of Eminem's songs on reels and remixes without permission, costing him in lost profit and copyright value. They're asking $150K per song and want a jury to handle it. Meta tried going through licensing company Audium, but M's team said no deal. Even after complaints, Meta allegedly kept pushing the content. What are your thoughts? Oh, I take a lot of thoughts from reading the actual statement here. All right. When you see 109 million off rip, it's like, damn, that's a big number. But when you come down to 150K per song for Eminem, makes sense. Makes sense. $150,000 per song. This is Eminem. Shit, 150 per song actually might be cheap. It's Eminem, people. All right. Now to hear that, you guys reached out and no deal was made, and then you proceeded, that's a violation. That's damn near a form of a cease and desist. No, actually, it's not, because nobody told. I take that back. It's not cease and desist. But you tried to make a deal, one wasn't made, and then you proceeded. Were you confident that one would be made in the interim? Can't do that. You can't do that, right? If it's pending, it's pending. If it's no, it's no. And I've posted at times songs on my Instagram, for example, and I saw like, oh wow, this shit got clipped or got flagged or it had to be taken down. I could get things taken off of your Instagram, right? Like some of my battles, for example. I hit Quarter Lab up and be like, yo, take that down. You know, take that off their Twitter, take that off their gram, take that off their YouTube. That's our content, and we're not allowing that, right? But it's not the same for like if I like one of my last posts on Instagram. Obviously, you see how Instagram allows you to choose music, right? All those music clips that they allow you to choose or songs, you gotta be confident that they're all approved. That's why they're not getting clipped. That's why you don't get in trouble for playing them shits. Okay. People are allowing that stuff to get played there. They're getting approval for it. All right. Funko Pop can't just fucking make a Lil Wayne pop without his approval, even though it seems like they got one for everybody. Right. It doesn't work that way. And it makes me think, like, when you spend all this time putting together your content or your intellectual rights or your copywritten material, and then somebody takes it without approval, and this is what can happen. You know, like if somebody ever sent me a cease and desist and said that I'm using their content in a way that they don't want it to be used unless I compensate them, I promise you I would abide by their requests 100%. Yo, I see you just played my Brittany Renner video, and yeah, I appreciate you. I like what you do, and I rock with you ARP, but you know, I don't want you to use that. I won't use it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or do me a favor, you know, make sure my video is a month old before. I used to do that with YouTube content, RBE content as well. If you want to put up a clip, you know, make sure that it's not on pay-per-view still or VOD still. You know, some people still tweet you fuck your battles, and it's fuck you too, bitch. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the violation that people deserve to get sued over sometimes, because if you're telling somebody I'm purposefully violating your intellectual, your copywritten materials, then all right, cool. And I'm not saying that Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook went and said, Eminem, go fuck yourself. But if you reached out to his label side and tried to get a deal done and it didn't get done, that does not then give you the right to proceed. You know, so I just when I see the 109, I say, sheesh, damn, M, is this you just making a statement? 150 a song? Damn. It kind of makes sense for an Eminem, right? And I like to take this position because I also own content, you know, and I let people use my content a lot because I'm cool with it. You know, as long as it's not done in a malicious way and it's not done in a way where somebody replatforms me and goes and makes a bunch of money off of me that I'm supposed to be involved in. But the general use, if somebody taps in with me, right? 99.9% of the time, if you tap in with me, I give you the approval. I give you the approval. And if I'm not sure, then I just give you the parameters. Hey, only use this round or only use 30 seconds or, you know, and then you do what you do. It's all good. The same way I use people's content too. But once again, if somebody has a problem with the way their content is being used, you need to oblige because they own it. It's that fucking simple. And me being the content creator, how could I take any other position? You know, how could I take any other position? So when y'all see ARP say stuff, when we ended up, our podcast ended up in that lawsuit with dude that's suing over him having the rights to like that, right? He said when it came his way, only Future was on it. And then when it came out, Kendrick was on it. He said, oh, no, I didn't prove that. And then he sued. I did a podcast on that. They took my podcast and they put it in their lawsuit and they say, look what people are saying. You see, I was like, oh shit, why are we in a lawsuit? We're in the fucking guy's exhibit in his lawsuit. And I'm taking the same type of opinion here. I'm a content creator. I think it's wrong to just purposefully rob people. If you're using something and somebody takes issue with it, hear them out. Somebody sends you a cease and desist, oblige to it. You know what I'm saying? Or call a lawyer and see if you have mutual rights to something that you believe, call a lawyer. If you know 100% you don't have any rights to it and you got a cease and desist, or somebody said, no, don't use it, oblige. Go with what they're saying. Because these people put a lot of work into their shit for somebody else to just come and make money off of it. And that's the worst. when somebody feels like you're presenting something in a way that's making you a lot of money and you didn't cut them in. Instagram and Facebook, to a degree, a lawyer can show that they're being propelled by the music backing of some of this stuff, right? Music, especially hip hop, the biggest music commodity in the world, to me, over every other genre of music, right? And you're using this stuff to push and entice marketing and ads and posts. And I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg, your monthly is $1 billion a month. You know what I'm saying? And Eminem didn't even get his 150 per song. Nah, I can't do that. I got an issue. So all right, let's leave that there. Let's leave that there. Let's stay with some goats though, because M is a goat. Let's go to another goat while we're here. My guy Jay. Y'all know I was on pins and needles with that case, right? I was like, oh, not my goat. Come on, man. Jay, you gotta win this. You gotta prove this one. Nah, man, not my. All right, what do we got here? The bill Jay-Z pushed for restricting rap lyrics to be used in criminal cases passes in New York Senate major. Jay-Z and other artists like Meek Mill, Big Sean, and Fat Joe have been actively involved in advocating for a bill that limits the use of rap lyrics as evidence in court. The New York State Senate has indeed passed a bill known as Rap Music on Trial that restricts the use of song lyrics and other forms of creative expression as evidence in criminal cases. This bill, while not outright banning the use of lyrics, requires prosecutors to demonstrate that the lyrics are literal rather than figurative or fictional before presenting them to a jury. Okay. So that's a big difference. That's a very, very big difference. When we first heard about this starting up, like it was like last year, something like that. You know what I said? I said, good luck, because these niggas is rapping shit that, to be honest, to be real, the prosecutors should be using in court because they're telling you the proof that it's right there, right? That little stipulation that they just put there, let me scroll this to the bottom so y'all can see it, is very, very different. Okay? This piece right here, this bill, while not outright banning the use of lyrics, requires prosecutors to demonstrate that the lyrics are literal rather than figurative, or fictional before presenting them to a jury. That is the big piece. Before presenting them to a jury also is big. So what's an example of that? Slick Rick's, a children's story. Open up the door. Yo, guess we slow. They the dope feed shoot it dope and don't know the beat of the water. Also be like, I need bullets. Hurry up, run. Right? No, if I'm fighting a fucking case for a shooting, you're not gonna bring in the children's story of when I did a fictional story of a shootout. Okay, I did that one right there for my 80s babies. Slick Rick shit. No, that's not gonna happen. So take that off the table. I like that. You don't allow somebody to compound what you're trying to show us who they are based on pure artistry. All right, because there are a ton of rappers, millions of rappers. It is part of our culture of being storytellers. Not necessarily also talking about what I've done, but talking about some of my experiences, talking about what some of my friends experience, talk about what happens typically in the places that I was raised, talk about what's happening in the world, whether I'm from this particular state or not, talking about what you see and hear in life. And some of that turns into the studio rappers. They might see out in Compton, California, this is what's happening. I'm all the way in fucking Wichita rapping some shit that they doing. And then the fans get thrown off. Like, I thought you was, no. So cool. But I don't want you to get fucking indicted for that. Being a fake gangster or studio gangster rapper, that's a different story. The fans can worry about that. Court shouldn't. Okay. But this doesn't remove drill rappers or people that just love talk. Like, it's just not, it doesn't make sense legally from the law of the land to allow, I hate to use him because I'm not wishing jail on a man, but to allow Little Durk to have these real situations that happened and then see some of the almost exact corresponding stuff in your lyrics, or some of these drill rappers talking about the actual shootings that happened, talking about like what really went down on the block, talk about something that you really, we see the skits and we joke about it all the time. They go outside, they spin the block, they shoot they op, and they go straight to the fucking studio and they rap it. You want me, a person that is fair, to say, I don't want, because it's a rap lyric, I don't want you to be able to use that. Okay. All right. How about it's your son or your daughter, chat? You see, I do that a lot when I really, want to put y'all back to the wall. It's your son and your daughter. You know what, chat? I could spare you because I just thought about another example where I don't got to use y'all, right? Let's use Mama Duck. Doesn't she have an open lawsuit right now? Doesn't she? Let's use Mama Duck. So you want the King Vons of the world. Let's say hypothetically, if he was still alive, you want the King Vons of the world to be able to rap that. Let's say allegedly he sent that, or he put that, or that $100,000 that he put on the table in O Block in the video. That's what it represented. And then he's got all of these duck lyrics, or let's say his right hand man Muap, who wants to do the pictures of the duck flashing on his sneakers, or he's rapping certain shit, and nigga duck couldn't get up, you know, or like you want them to be able to rap that as Mama Duck, and you want to see those alleged shooters of your child get off of lyrics like that because it's simply laid in the booth. What? He just bragged about what he did to this person's son. You want the mother to be like, oh, damn, well, Jay-Z's new bill says that this can't go? What? No, it ain't gonna work that way. And technically, it shouldn't work that way, okay? So using lyrics to create a character of somebody from something that is fictional or artistry, I will always be against coming into court, okay? That's why I use the Slick Rick example. Nobody believes that children's story is tied to anything. Don't bring that in and say, look, this is the type of stuff, that type of songs that he makes. So why can't we believe that he was in this shootout over here? No, we're not going to do that. There's a million songs with a million shootouts that is all fictional and all artistry. But when Teddy dies from getting shot by 7.62 caliber ammunition, and then the song comes out and says, yeah, I hit Teddy with that 7.62 on the corner of, right? No, let it go in. I'm sorry. I'm being fair on both sides. Like, cut it out. So when we first heard this bill, people, to close out, we thought it was going to be after any lyrics. That's impossible to do. You can't just say all lyrics. Like, what court is going to agree to that? Think the government's going to agree to that? We could never use rap lyrics ever. No, they're going to say we can't use lyrics unless they're specific, or we feel like they're tied in, or they're possibly literal, in which case, yes, they will be presented. Makes sense. All right. But respect to the artists of the world, somebody like a Jay-Z putting his time and effort and his name and his power to it, you know, but it's got to be for the right causes of protecting artistry. Okay. Let's stay with the GOATs and let's stay with Jay-Z for a second. Did y'all see this one? H. Trumpus and what? All right. Jay-Z helped the Clipse out of their Def Jam deal in 24 hours. And before I even read it, is this did Jay-Z have an extra little motivation because of Kanye? You never know. I won't over speculate. All right. In a recent interview with Billboard, Pusha T's manager Steven Victor reveals that Jay-Z helped negotiate a new deal for the Clipse upon their departure from Def Jam. The deal cost Roc Nation and Clipse 7 figures. I won't kill y'all with the super details that are written here. I think some of this also came out from Pusha T's new GQ interview, maybe, but definitely, like it mentions here from Steven Victor, Pusha T's manager reveals this as well. You know, so some significant money went up, 7 figures. And also, I believe a percentage of the next album needs to go to Def Jam as well. All right, look, Def Jam got a contract on you. It's not battle rap. These rappers can't just say, oh, well, now this contract don't matter to me because I got something else going on. Let me just go do. No. Def Jam, I wish that all leagues could function like a Def Jam or whatever. I wasn't able to as much as I wanted to either, to be honest, to be real. But the contracts up there actually mean something. Okay. So Def Jam's like, I have the rights to Pusha T. He signed this. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, you pay me the 7-figure amount and let me get 15% of your next deal. And yeah, we'll call it a day. Now for Jay-Z and his Rock Nation backing, that might be a great investment for them. You know what I'm saying? Pusha and Jay-Z have always been cool, right? That looks like a good move for Jay to do. You know, looks real, real good. And further pisses off Kanye, like I said. So if this is why Ace Trumpets just came out, and if we're gearing up super for not just a Pusha run under this new label situation with Rock Nation and Jay-Z, but also the Clipse, because I was out the loop. When I heard Malice on Ace Trumpets, I was just like, whoa, 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 when did Malice come back? If he came back prior, I missed it. I didn't know Malice was back. I thought Malice was totally done. Like, I'm done. I'm out of here. No more rap for me. And I was cool with that. At least we still have Push. You know? Push is better than Malice. But Malice is dope. And the two brothers, to see them rapping together like that, that's such a dope duo. So if Ace Trumpets is kind of like a coming out party of this new deal, new situation, and Malice is back, hip hop gods have gave us something then. Okay? Thank you. Clipse, Push, Malice. Let's go. I'm here for it. We all here for it. Let's stay with hip hop for a second. I got a couple more for y'all, and then I'll get into the Cayman Islands. Let's stay with hip hop. I gotta play this, man. Also, as a Staten Islander, come on, I had to bring this up here. Like, kidding me?
What we were doing was taking it from the concrete to the beat to the world.
Documentary of the Purple Tape on the way. Here for it.
So you knew where we was. You had to come check out where we was at. It was hip hop. There was nothing else. When it dropped, that's it. The Purple Tape changed the entire way you make records.
Nobody told us to call it the Purple Tape. Like, the name of the album is only built.
Lights out, stick went out there, switch like a chameleon, Iverson, flash the cats only the children, leave the building, they get seated before the light envelopes of the pressure. Like, what?
The Cuban links, but as soon as you saw it, you're like, that's a Purple Tape.
Can you remember a time when an album was featuring someone else? The Raekwon album featured Ghostface, which was so dope.
In the
I remember literally niggas
staircases.
was getting stabbed in the jail for misplaced purple tapes.
You know, I put myself into a Scorsese mind frame. This is a serious storytelling album. One thing I knew, I had to make this product stand out. I knew that purple represented royalty, and that's exactly what I was looking for. That Cuban right there, baby, it done sparked a lot of shit for a lot of real niggas. A lot of niggas learn how to rhyme off that shit.
Not only did it usher in the mafia style of hip hop, it also ushered in the alter egos, the aliases.
Let's go ahead and walk.
Is the Wu, so the whole kung fu and all of that, the Wu, like, we know the whole Shaolin temple and Shaolin monk wave that they brought. But are they the first to do the mafioso rap? The Wu? Ray, them type of silky shirts and all that, and are they? Now, the aliases and all that, I don't really remember people before the Wu too much doing that too much either. It's like, all right, this guy's also named Golden Arms. This guy's also named Tikal. This guy's also named Tony Stark. This guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, were they the first? They if they're not, they close to it, man. And the mafioso shit, like, you could see Ray, he was definitely into that early, and then it carried forward with him, like a mobility and everything. Like, you see that in his music.
These dogs will represent Wu.
music was just so colorful. It was like you was in a Chinese mafia movie.
Still to this day, it's flows that you haven't heard before, saying some of the most wild shit.
Challenge finest. What up, boo? Peace, your highness. Yo, I'm lounging. Big style, young niggas is the flyest. Moves you're making true.
I feel like it was a lesson on style. It was all created from the Wu-Tang movement.
We could go the whole.
So when I came to Staten Island, first shit that always used to ring in my head was the theme from Good Times. Like, this is the fucking ghetto right here.
We done seen everything. Niggas' heads get blown off, and I done been shot like 3 times. You know what I mean? And I done did my work and got my work in too. That was real shit.
And we had to make a conscious decision. Either we want to stay here and keep holding guns and running around playing this game, or we want to go for the American dream and get on this rap shit. Next thing you know, we in the studio doing some skits and Ghost.
Oh shit, Jay, I gotta give you a point. Fuck you know about the nutmeg. You know what fucked over so many people is that the Supreme Clientele album was released and the tracks were out of order. Everybody remember that? And everybody was so pissed, like, what the fuck is going on? Was Nutmeg a hidden track? It might have been a hidden track. But I had this debate a long time ago that Supreme Clientele is not the best Ghostface album. I'll save that for another stream.
This just took it to another level.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas is biting off your album cover and shit. Niggas bit off a nine shit. You know what I'm saying?
You were like, wait a second. Is he talking about Biggie?
I think Wu, the Fugees had some crazy. Yo, the skit era, man. The skit era. Fugees, the Wu, all the Wu members. Who else had dope skits?
Like, is my favorite group basically going at our favorite solo artist?
What we were doing was taking it from the concrete to the beat to the world. So you knew where we was. You had to come check out where we was at.
The hardest, and it's impossible to pick, man. I'll tell you a funny one that I've always ran. What I always said, the hardest verse. Not the best verse. Somebody clip me, and then next thing you know, I'll be viral for saying something. They'll be like, yo, he's not a hip-hop person. Get him out of here. Because Inspector Deck's verse on Triumph is among the top verses in hip-hop history, widely touted. Like, you know what I'm saying? For hip-hop heads. I'm not saying the best. I'm saying the hardest verse on Triumph is RZA's verse. God to the water soldiers, this type of punks couldn't hold this. 1,000 men rushing in, not one was sober, perpendicular to the square. We step through big flare, escape through your dragon's lair. In particular, my beats travel like a vortex through your spine, through the top of your cerebral cortex, make you feel like you bust up from raw sex. Like his shit was just the way he came on the beat for his verse. His shit was just tough. His shit was tough. But it's for me, it's impossible to pick a best member. It's not even easy for a best Wu album, right? The group albums, you know, you're either gonna go with Forever or 36 Chambers, right? But you got the Purple Tape. You got Ghostface got like 3 bona fide best of all time albums. You know what I'm saying? You got Tikal. You got so much. I even like it's not a classic, but I'm a Bobby Digital guy too, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it's just too much. It's too fucking much. You can't pick a best album, and that's a good thing. It's hard for me to pick the best one. I could tell you like the top ones. Like I always put Master Killer towards the end of them, right? And I love GZA. GZA is one of the most lyrical rappers of all time, but I never, from a personal preference, had GZA alongside like a Ray or a Ghost or a Deck or sometimes even a Meth, even though Liquid Swords is another fucking I can't do this right now, people. It's too much. I'm cut this shit off. Y'all gonna have me lose my mind up here, and then somebody gonna fuck around and clip me saying something that they didn't have the full context with, and they're gonna take my Staten Island card from me. I'm good. I ain't doing it. Let me celebrate with this man. This is my favorite. Let me do some. What I got for y'all? What I got left for y'all? Okay, I got a small politic one. I got 2 sports, and then I'll get to my little trip that I just got back from. Sports-wise, I'm bringing this one up because this is my favorite player of all time, basketball player of all time. All right, my favorite player of all time doesn't have a ring, and that's cool. I'm not the captain of the yacht, but I'm on a boat. You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson. When I saw this, it just made me so proud as shit. He deserves everything. This man is one of the people that steered the NBA. What do I mean by steering the NBA? We know what Jordan did, right? Some people say he put the whole NBA on his back, elevated the game, saved it, whatever. Posts like Larry Bird and Irvin and Magic Johnson. Like, come on, like, why have a conversation about Jordan? Kobe was one of those guys. LeBron is one of those guys. Steering. You know who else steered the NBA for a little bit? Vince Carter. Vince Carter, his explosive nature, the best in-game dunker of all time in the NBA, the best in-game. Has one of the best, if not the best dunk of all time, that Olympic shit where he jumped over the 7-footer. This is like Vince. I'm so glad when I see him as a sports announcer because I feel like he deserves to be employed by the NBA forever. Forever. The amount of electricity that he brought in his moment. But I say all that to say, another person that steered the NBA, and let me give my real respect to AI, my favorite player, man. Let me take big screen. Another person that steered is AI. Is AI the question? You know, AI did something beautiful for us. Most of us on this channel, on this podcast, are hip-hop fans. AI put so much of our hip-hop culture on Front Street of the NBA. When I say AI is my favorite NBA player of all time, it's not just his game. It's also what he did. You know, he was identified. He is a black sheep to a degree. He was the rare breed. He was like, fuck y'all. Like he's the reason why they started doing the suits for a second on the sidelines. Cause he was coming hair half braided, long 40-inch chain, pants, sweatpants hanging off his ass, white t-shirt, 4X white t-shirt, sitting courtside while he's injured or some shit like that. Like was popping. Mom's braiding my hair in the middle of the game and some shit. I love it. He pushed our culture like, this is how we look. This is how we do our hair. This is how we walk around sometimes. This is how we dress. This is how we talk. This is how we act. Because black people are the commodity of the NBA. The black players, like, come on, man, don't take that the wrong way. There's a million white play. Who's Jerry West? He's the logo. But the primary commodity of these players are African American, and not just the corporate African American. Like, let's say a Michael Jordan. I don't even know how much we see Michael Jordan endorse or fuck with. I don't even know if he likes hip hop. Like, remember that? Oh, there's always been that thing about Mike. It was like, yo, do you even? Anyway, I'll save that. But AI, he put our culture on Front Street. It's just like, even though this is as corporate as it gets, this is the NBA, a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I am one of the faces of the league right now. I'm walking right here in the playoffs on camera with half my fucking hair braided. You know, I'm never cutting my braids. It's like he's a guy that just, it didn't seem like he ever sacrificed who he was. Ever. He's like, I maintain who the fuck I am. And then even from a game standpoint, the steering of that, the crossover, you know, his Reebok commercial had Jada Kiss in it, didn't it? Didn't it? I love this guy, man. I love what he did for our culture. I love what he did for the NBA. I love what he did as a player. I have mad respect and mad appreciation for AI. So when I seen this, it was like, oh, nah, I got to put this on the podcast, man. I got to pay my respects. All right, let's play it.
Allen Iverson is 49. He lost $40 million trying to launch a high-end clothing line, but he couldn't care less. because he just gave back $100 million to change lives. We all know how unstoppable he was on the court, but off it, he's made over $350 million. His Reebok lifetime deal pays him $800,000 a year with a $52 million trust fund waiting at 55. And Iverson enjoys life like few can. His Atlanta mansion, a custom-built $4.5 million estate, holds his trophies and memories. His car collection features Bentleys, Maybachs, and the same Rolls-Royce once driven by Tupac. But Iverson isn't just about the game. He's about giving back. His donations have provided $5 million in direct aid to struggling families in Virginia. He's funded $8 million for mentorship programs, helping kids find the right path. And every year he puts $10 million into youth basketball camps, making sure the next generation has a shot at greatness. If you respect what Iverson's built, drop an AI in the comments. Allen Iverson is 49. He lost 40 million.
Love it, man. I fucking love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. He's got all that money waiting for him when he turns 55, man. I can't wait to see him grab it. He earned it. He deserves it. Like we mentioned in the chat, the structuring of his deals and, you know, still getting paid out. And, man, the greatness of AI, man. It's just, it's a homage moment for me, man. It really is. Shout out to AI, man. Real talk. All right. Real quick. Sticking with the NBA. When's game 3? Is it Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday, right? Game 3. Shaq drops his top 10. I want to see if some of y'all agree or disagree. Let's check this out real quick.
Hi, I'm Shaquille O'Neal, and this is my top 10 greatest players of all time. Number 10, I have myself. I would take myself off and put the great Julius Erving. Number 9, I have the great Tim Duncan. Number 8, I have Akeem Olajuwon. Number 7, Larry Bird. Number 6, Will Chamberlain. Number 5, I will go with Bill Russell. Number 4, I'm going to go with Irvin Magic Johnson. Number 3, I'm going to go with the King, LeBron James. Number 2, I'm going with rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant. And number 1, the greatest player of all time is Michael Jordan.
Very, very tough list to argue. One thing I don't agree with him. I don't know if he's doing it out of humility. No, he can't. So let me see his number 10 again. Watch this. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Shaquille O'Neal, and this is my top 10 greatest players of all time. Number 10, I have myself. I would take myself off and put the great Julius Erving. Number 9, I have the great Tim Duncan.
These are the two places that I have the biggest issue with his top 10. I think it's impossible. Is it impossible? Yeah. Well, it's possible. Nah. It's tough to push Shaq out of the top 10. I know he's doing that slightly out of humility and a little bit of sarcasm. He mentions him, and then they do the edit. He takes himself off number 10. He puts Julius Erving. Julius Erving is who Julius Erving is, of course. But if I need to choose my 10th spot between Julius Erving and Shaq, I'm sorry, I'm just taking Shaq. You know, so that's my first issue with his list. My second issue with his list is he has Tim Duncan before him. He put Tim Duncan, I believe, at number 9. Tim Duncan deserves to be in the top 10. He does. But ahead of Shaq, how many do they both, how many does Shaq have? Shaq has 4 and Tim Duncan has 4? How many championships does Tim Duncan have? Oh, Tim's got 5. Shit. Hold on. Shaq got 4? Does Shaq have? Yeah. Oh, he's good. Oh, okay. I see one thing that Shaq did there. Tim got a chip on him. It's 5-4. Oh, fuck. Maybe I'll take that back a tiny bit. How many does Julius Erving have? How many does Julius? Because I want to make sure I don't think it's blasphemous for me to say I gotta push Julius Erving for Shaq. Julius Erving have. How many does Julius have? He's got 3. Yeah, chill. Shaq is bugging. That was him being humble. Julius is not ahead of Shaq. I'm sorry, Shaq. But damn, Tim got 5, Shaq got 4, and it's not only rings. We know that because if that was the case, then Bill Russell would be number 1. But Tim ahead of Shaq. So the same way when people think about Shaq and his impact, they go directly towards his dominance, the most dominant player in NBA history, right? Most dominant paint player ever. Tim Duncan, though, innovated a style within itself too. I don't want to call it finesse. Shit, Olajuwon was doing it before Tim, but Olajuwon was a center. Tim was a power forward. Tim, that window shot, that was his. That glass shot, that definitely was his. I don't know, man. I still got Shaq ahead of Tim. Does Tim have any MVPs? How many MVPs does I know he does, but how many Tim Duncan have? How many does he have? He has 2. Okay, how many does Shaq have? Fuck. Shaq got 1. Shit. Fuck. Some of these numbers really matter because they're tied to some impactful shit. MVPs and chips. Man. Maybe I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. The rest of his list, I think is pretty solid. I mean, there's a couple people you could rotate here and there, but it's pretty solid. The biggest debate will be him putting LeBron in number 3. He has the bias to Kobe, but it's hard to say that it's only a bias because Kobe has more chips than LeBron. He was a dominant player like LeBron. I mean, it's fucking Kobe Bryant. Like, what are you talking about here? Do I need to explain? Like, we don't need to break down Kobe's stats and shit. It's Kobe Bryant. And Shaq has maintained that for a very, very long time, that he always had Kobe ahead of LeBron. Well, LeBron is just, he created such, he's even created the debate with Jordan. It's the longevity and it's the accolades. I don't want to just say numbers because that makes it sound like I'm undermining it. But the accolades, he's all-time scoring leader. That's one of the biggest accolades you could have. All right. Some people would take an all-time scoring leader and equate that to like 2 rings. That might sound crazy, but think about it. The all-time lead scorer of NBA history. That is mega. That is mega. You can compare that shit to a chip in certain people's opinion. So that's a debate right there. Some people might reverse Kobe and LeBron. I like Kobe as a player more than LeBron, but I think it's a tough argument to put him ahead of LeBron on the all-time list. It's not easy. It's not easy. No, he's got more chips though. So very, very good debate. Very good debate. MJ, I just hate when anybody puts MJ out of the number 1 spot. It kills me. You know, it's just, that's solidified. That's done. That's not going to be touched. Nobody's ever going to be able to replicate what LeBron has done to me. And nobody's going to, the only way you could ever replicate what Jordan has done or what LeBron has done. Well, actually, you don't need to replicate what Jordan has done because the era of the NBA and the style of NBA and the way the NBA, the rules and the way it is today has left the Jordan era behind. So this era has also created a LeBron. The only way you can create, and LeBron hasn't passed Jordan in many people's eyes. If he hasn't, then you need to see if you can create another LeBron. And the only way you can create another LeBron with that amount of longevity, that amount of accolades, those amount of chips, that all of that what LeBron has done, scoring all-time leader, is the NBA needs to change. Like, it's like somebody 20 years from now or 30 years from now that'll say quarterbacks, you know, are passing for more yards now because they're able to sit into the pocket longer. They don't have the fear of getting hit the way they used to. Wide receivers, they're picking up more yards because, you know, the way the league is protecting them from getting hit, right? You see how much the NFL has changed to protect the health, which then protects the money and the business. That is a big evolution within the NFL. The NBA would have to have some type of big evolution, a fucking 4-pointer or some shit. I'm not talking about an N1. I'm talking about an all-out 4-point shot. It had to be some major evolution, I think, to see another LeBron run. It's just too difficult to do what he did. It's way too difficult. Definitely not in our lifetime. All right. I just don't see it. So that is where I create the argument that if LeBron hasn't passed Jordan, and if the NBA needs to do some big time evolution to have somebody be able to catch and pass LeBron, then that means you strongly sit MJ in the number 1 spot forever. Some people might feel like I really went and grabbed some twisted logic to do that one, anti-Jordan people, but fuck it, it works. Okay. I don't do too many politics on the channel. Y'all know me. I haven't even covered yet any of the Trump and the Elon stuff. I haven't done a single stream about it. I'm in the loop. But this one was funny to me. This shit right here with Trump and Stephen A. Smith, because it gets back to some of the cultural divide of Trump's administration that I've always paid attention to.
Mr. President, thank you for your time. It's interesting that you brought up Harvard, because when people think about Harvard, what they're basically talking about is they're asking, what do you say to those who view your actions as an attack on academic freedom rather than a defense of fairness? What do you say to that?
Well, I say this. We had riots in Harlem, in Harlem.
Amazing. Amazing. Trump heard a black man say Harvard, and he thought he must have meant Harlem. What a beautiful mix of racism and dementia. It sounded like you asked about Social Security, but I'm going to assume you really asked about Soul Plane. No, not a great start, but maybe Donald Trump, maybe he can save it.
We had riots in Harlem, in Harlem, and frankly, if you look at what's gone on, and people from Harlem went up and they protested, Stephen, and they protested very strongly against Harvard.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. What is he talking about exactly? There were no riots in Harlem. They definitely didn't go from the non-riots to protest Harvard. And none of that had anything to do with Stephen A.'s question about academic freedom. It's almost like he's talking about black stuff because Stephen A. Smith is black.
You know, I got a very high black vote. You know that. Very, very high black vote.
I'm starting to think that maybe Trump shouldn't be choosing the curriculum for the smartest college in the world. The answer was so dumbfounding that Stephen A., who is a professional interrupter, was left speechless for the first time in his life. By the way, this is not even...
Mr. President, thank you for your time.
He said I had a very strong black vote. That's like the white guy that says something racist and says, "What you mean? I got a black friend." I'll leave it alone. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Should I start bringing more politics into our podcasts? Into our streams? Should we be doing the Elon and I don't we'll see. I'll keep my eye on stuff. Shout out to Checks and Balances. Y'all got a bunch of that stuff in the chat. I'm paying attention to all of it. But as far as our streams, I want us to continue to expand, you know, so we'll see. I don't know, piece by piece, brick by brick. We don't got to rush. We'll see. We'll see. All right. That closes out all the topics. We are 2 hours and 20 minutes in. That is a good stream. That was a good stream right there. A lot of topics, a lot of stuff that we covered. I owed a little bit of a longer stream, even though today's Monday. You know, the weekdays I try to do shorter and definitely earlier. But here I am at 10 a.m. on a Monday, right? Going totally against my own scheduling. I owed us all this, me and y'all, come hang out for a little bit and try to catch up. So I was away since Thursday. I went to the Cayman Islands, okay? So those that want to hang around for that recap. Off rip, the Cayman Islands is top 3 islands that I've been to overall thus far. And I've been to a million. Like, I'm on my second passport book, and It looks great. I've been a lot of places. And the thing about the Cayman Islands, like for example, when I was in Barbados a couple months ago, when I went to Barbados, even in the more money areas of Barbados, you look around, you're like, damn, like Rihanna, you come from humble beginnings, like right? Like the houses, like you can see the money in the houses and in the cars easily, especially when you're traveling, a good distance across the island. And the Cayman Islands, you could see it in the homes, you could see it in the cars, you could see it in the commercialism. You're just like, oh, I didn't know that the Cayman Islands came up like this. I didn't know y'all had money out here like this. So that's number one. Number two, it's an English speaking island, right? So it's English is their first language out there that they taught. So you don't gotta have that, you don't gotta worry about that. Using your cell phone as an interpreter the whole time, some shit like that. You're good there. Safety. Safety. Um, I like to wear and have like, enjoy like enjoy my nice outfits or even some of my jewelry or whatever, maybe a nice watch. But I'm very selective of where I wear certain things or how much I might stand out. Right. That's just how I am normally in the world. You know what I'm saying? You might catch me in the supermarket looking just like this, minus my chain, just like this regular. You might catch me in the mall looking just like this. I move around very, very regular. But if I'm on vacation, I might want to, throw one of my nice watches on or something like that and like enjoy myself a little bit. And I don't leave the resort like that. Like I might let's throw my watch in the safe or some shit. And now if we want to travel off the resort, cool. You don't gotta do that in the Cayman Islands. The safety of it's a low crime area or island or lower than most, I should say. It could go down anywhere, but you feel safe and the energy and the vibe. Not even just from the police presence, but even just from the culture of it, maybe the speed of it. Because we come from where we come from, we know the difference. You could be a certain area and be like, a little sketchy. It's reverse in the Cayman Islands, man. It just feels comfortable in many areas. Okay. So that's 3 right there. Now, the resort that I went to is called Seafire Kimpton, right? The drawback of the resort is that it's not all inclusive. Now, you know how we travel sometimes. We love ourselves some all inclusive, resorts and spots where you can just walk up to the bar and be like, yo, let me get one of them. And you got a lot of resorts that when they are all inclusive, you don't get top shelf service, you don't get top shelf liquor, you don't get top shelf food, right? Because we're not going to serve you lobster and shrimp and steak all weekend bundled into the price, right? There's one resort that I went to. Shout out to my man Tate. He's the one that found it. It's in Mexico. It's called Finest Resort. That is an all-inclusive yet top shelf resort. It's incredible. Like you get to this resort and you be like, there's no way this bar with all top shelf liquor is all inclusive. Like this got to be the paid for bar. Like, no, it's all included. That restaurant is all inclusive. Like, yeah, the hibachi and all this and the steak and the fish and all. It's all like, really? Like all inclusive normally be like a fucking buffet and burgers and fries and shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's about the finest in Mexico finest resort. Here, this resort, C5 Kipton, it's not all inclusive, right? But it's still so worth it. When we talk about the drinks, there's a bar. I just posted on my Instagram. I posted on my Instagram yesterday and I took it down because I messed up one of the videos that I left out and I posted again this morning. The last thing I posted to my Instagram, go check it out. It's one post that got 7 videos and 3 regular pictures. Like, yeah, it's got 10 joints in it. Go check that out. This bar that's inside the C5 Kimpton resort, it's a top 50 bar in North America. Now, I've been to a million bars in my life. I never really thought to myself like, oh, is this a top 100, top 1,000, top whatever? This is a top 50 voted. What happens when you stumble across a top 50 in North America of all time bar? So this particular place, they created a lot of custom, unique drinks that the ingredients of the drinks adhere to a story. The bar is built on a library, kind of. It gives like a backdrop of a lot of books and stuff like that. So, for example, behind the bar, you'll see like Stephen King's It book, right? And they got like a little paper boat, and there's a drink to match it. I put it on my gram for y'all. You can see the ingredients. You can see the bartender tells me the story of the drink. I recorded all that for y'all. What do I mean by that? Like, one of the elements to Stephen King's It, Pennywise, was he operated on fear. So he gives an explanation of like, well, when you're scared and when the body's in fear, your mouth gets dry. So there's like an ingredient or an element to the drink that's supposed to have that, right? Then what do the kids drink after they think they killed Pennywise? It's like scotch. They got a little bit of that in there. Something when they made peanut butter, they got a peanut butter ingredient. It's just wild. And they got like 50 different drinks that do that. It's not your typical bar where you're like, let me get a fucking Incredible Hulk, or let me get a Ciroc and pineapple. It's not that. It's a real cocktail bar with real bartenders that will sit down and tell you. I recorded 2 of the stories. One of them was Death Note. I think Death Note is an anime that's on Netflix. I recorded 2 of those stories for y'all, and they'll serve you the drink, and then they will tell you why the ingredients are in the drink, and they'll tell you the whole story of whatever movie or character or public figure the drink is tied to. And you don't got to be a drinker to I don't consider, I'm a social drinker. I'm not just some like, man, what to look at. That ain't me. I drink socially. And you don't got to be a drinker to appreciate it. If you are there and you go see it for yourself, you feel a level of, this is like once in a lifetime type of shit, and I can't do it justice by explaining it. You have to go to a top 50 bar or one like that does that type of shit. It was really, really incredible to watch these guys put together these drinks, present it, tell you the story. The Death Note one, he gave me, was it a kimchi ball or whatever? And they serve either red or blue ones because it's either a red or blue element to the story. Like the blue represents the cops and the red element represents the bad guys. And they put a mysterious one that you're supposed to eat it and see which one in the story you fall with for your drink. It's just next level shit, man. And like I said, I can't do it justice by explaining, but that within the resort within itself was crazy. Beautiful gym. The resort, highly, I would recommend. Once again, it's not all inclusive, but it's well worth it. Now, another thing that I took note of when I first got there is the water. If you like taking warm weather or hot weather vacations, I'm big on those. Like I'll go places where it's cold if it's like a cultural type of joint. When we was in Amsterdam, it was freezing. I remember when we took that trip. When we was in Paris, it was cold. I remember that trip. I'll take those type of trips, but I like warm weather and hot weather trips more than anything. So that draws a beach, right? This water was fucking, I couldn't believe how warm the seawater was on the beach. I couldn't believe it. I hate cold water. I can't do it. When I went to Brazil, the water was freezing. I did not swim when I went to Brazil. The water was ice fucking cold. I don't know if it was something going on with that particular month of the year or something. I doubt it because it's the sea. It's not talking about little rivers. Like the fucking water was ice cold in Brazil, but here in the Cayman Islands, boy, that water is so warm, man. And me being real sensitive to cold water, if I'm telling you the water is warm, trust me, it's warm. For some of y'all, that might mean hot. The water is also calm too, depending on your style of beach. Some people like a more rougher water for their vacations. 1, because they like the sound. 2, because they like to swim in waves. Like people still like to have fun jumping over waves and stuff, especially kids and whatnot. This water was very, very calm. I even took a jet ski out, and even out deep, like a couple miles and miles off the beach. Still, it was very, very calm out there. So very, very calm waters, if that's what you're into. That was presented at the Cayman Islands, and very, very warm. So I gave you the backdrop of how the island is, how the vibe is, how the safety is, how the people are, that particular resort, and also how the beach life in the water is. Hopefully that's a good enough review for make y'all feel like, hey man, I want to check that out. Seafire Kimpton, Cayman Islands, definitely a good choice. Definitely a good choice. All right. MSM says, what time of the year did you go to Brazil? It was during Carnival. So whenever they have Carnival is when I was there. I got that album, I think, on my Facebook. We went to Carnival. So people don't realize, I didn't realize it until I got there. Carnival is like, it takes over the whole city of Rio de Janeiro for like the whole weekend, or like maybe a whole week. Like even the restaurants and the banks and everything, they're boarded up with wood because there's so many people in the city of Rio that, you know, they don't want all the glass getting broken and shit. So I remember getting there for Carnival in Brazil, and the McDonald's was open, but it was all wood boarded up in front. They carved out a door, and I was just like, you walk in, and then it's the regular McDonald's. It's like, oh, they really boarding everything up out here. You know, that was an incredible trip. So it's like a parade in the streets 24/7, you know. And then we also went to the actual Coliseum for the floats, you know, the Carnival floats, these massive house size and bigger size floats. You know, it was like a 3-hour show or some shit like that. But yeah, my Carnival Brazil trip was incredible. That's one of my favorite trips as far as like experiences and shit. But anyway, yeah, that water was freezing. I ain't fuck with it. So whenever Carnival is in Brazil, if that's the reason why it was that cold, cool. Then take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But when I was there, ice bucket. Like, I was not fucking with it at all. Sports Live Reaction, shout out to the chat, says you should start a travel blogging channel. I appreciate that. Maybe you feel like I'm giving enough details where people could hear some of that type of stuff and say, all right, maybe that's a good enough breakdown whether I want to consider spending my money there or not. I don't know if I would start a whole channel, homie. But what I will do is I will continue to put stuff on my gram for y'all, and I'll also save it for streams where I come in and I give a little breakdown of the island, the resort, the people, the food, the water, the attractions and shit like that. I'll do that. I'll do that consistently for y'all. And I'll always save it towards like the end of the stream so we don't corrupt what people see in the title and what people see in the thumbnail. Somebody can see the thumbnail and see Cassie and Diddy and be like, all right, let me check this out. And if I start off trying to fucking tell you about the Cayman Islands, you're like, what the fuck, man? I ain't come here for that. So I always save it for that part of the stream, the end shit. We do that typically anyway. More personalized stuff towards the end of the streams, right? So chat says Carnival lasts for about 3 months. That's crazy. I would have told you like a week maybe for Brazil. I definitely know it ain't a day because like I said, when we was out there it was a 24/7 parade. Like, yo, they won't go to sleep. It's still shoulder to shoulder. One of my boys that I went on a trip with, like he has a little condition. It's not a condition. I just say he was shot, and he has leg problems. Like, you know, his leg and his foot gets real stiff and everything. And on this particular trip, when we was going to the Coliseum, we had already been out there for like 2 days, but we was going to the Coliseum, which was like one of the biggest attractions of the trip, right? Homie was the fucking the streets are so jam-packed and the trip is that trip was so massive. He cut out. He said, yo, I'm sitting this one out. So we talking about this is like one of the highlights of the trip. We about to go to Coliseum, B. He was like, I'm not walking in the middle of all this madness for another fucking hour. I'm gonna sit. He literally stayed in the hotel room and read a book. And like 2 or 3 of us went to the Coliseum. He was just like, I'm not built for this shit right now. Like, it's just too much. That's how it was for Carnival in Brazil. It was just like, it can defeat you. Like, it can defeat you. Like, it's just too much. It's too many people. It's too shoulder to shoulder. Wear bummy clothes. Don't have no bulges in your pockets. Meaning like, no fat wallet. We had some locals walking with us at one point. I had a digital camera at this time. It wasn't cell phone camera era like that. I had a digital camera, and I remember I put it up in the air, and I was taking a picture of the crowd. And this local that was with us, this girl, she grabbed my arm, and she's speaking another language, whatever it is. She's like, no. I was like, what? No. Meaning like, they're gonna run down on you for that fucking camera, nigga. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Good looking. Like, it's just that flooded, that crazy, that hectic. It's not the, oh, I got my jewelry on and I got this nice outfit on. No, you go out there, you dress for war. T-shirt, shorts, zipper on your pockets if you got some money in it, because it's so dense. You get pickpocketed. It's very dense and very, very, it's a lot. It's a war, but it's fun and it's an experience. All right. 2:40 we at now. I appreciate everybody that hung around for the stream. I feel like we all caught up. I'll be paying attention to the Diddy trial updates today. I got to go to Lil Durk's docket. If I would have did that today, we probably had another 40 minutes of the stream. I got to check his shit out. I did see some updates in Drake's UMG shit. I got to pull that up. I'll try to check that out today and see if we're going to cover any of that type of stuff tomorrow. Also, general news as always and checks and balances. I caught up with the chat yesterday while I was in the airport. I can't believe I finished it because there's so much we got in the checks and balances chat. Sometimes I go in the checks and balances chat and I just be like, it's going to take me 2 hours to fucking scroll up and catch up on all that shit. But I got to do it. It's part of the job, you know. But I caught up all yesterday, so I'm going to get back in there today and see what we got going on. But yeah. Other than that, once again, I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all bright and early tomorrow morning. I'm out.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.